was just program buy to the upside. There we go. And now it's missing data. And with program buy to the upside, if that is the case, where you were just profit takers in AMD flocking to NVIDIA, that feels like the start of something good. I like this turn. I feel like this should already be at 240, 250, so maybe it doesn't matter what I'm going to say next, but I really do think this is the next thing that goes, and I feel like we just had the start of that today. Hold on to that 200, and no reason we can't test those highs again. If the market gets back into the top, this could be a consult. Like, look how good this flag looks, and look at the rest of the gap fill on NVIDIA. So I like that rotation feel that it had going on with it when some of the memory chip names were weak and when the AMD was weak. The next step would just be breaking this out and doing the rest of the job, because you should be at 240, in my opinion, relative to what AMD's been doing. It's 11:01. We'll be excited for the lasagna. First time we've had it with the caterer, so we'll see you guys back at 2 o'clock. Hopefully, it's good, because I mean, I don't see lasagna's pretty much always.
Yeah, it should be.
I don't think I've ever had bad lasagna in my life. So we'll enjoy. We'll send you guys to Sharif and Joe, and we'll see you back at 2.
See you guys. Arsenal, ooh, Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. There we go. Joey freaking options. Boom. Good morning, everybody. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Midday Show. This handsome gentleman is your boy, Joey freaking options, and I'm Sharif. And welcome to the Midday. Great show with the boys. Obviously, I'm in a good mood, as you can tell. Let's say hello to everybody. Joey, shout out to Other Zinc. I had to, brother. The G is back. Big nephew. We got Eclipse. We got Rodney Owens. How about Super Double No Yes? Long Brady. Hello, right back at you, baby. Modesta. Yo, Arsenal in the final. Are they ever, my guy? Oh, my days. Almighty J. Boo. He's booing my team. All right, straight block. We got Brush Digital RJL 8822. Shout out to Jesse Martinez, All Might W8B. Let's say hello to some more people over here. Alan Bloomnauer. I probably killed that. I'm sorry. Kirk D. We got Andrew Chowan, Bodian 208. Sahil. John is rad. Yeah. Dollar bill. A dollar bill. Yo, a dollar bill. We got Coffee Black 905. The boys are back in the house, baby. Steve City. We got Mimi Wasabi. I hope you like Arsenal, Mimi, because you put a whole bunch of soccer balls there. I do like that. Terrible Trades. Howdy. Right back at you, brother. Who else we got here? Roulette. Ho Joe San. One more, Joey.
Yeah.
Raul Gomez. I don't know why I even said your name. I can't believe you put that comment. It got blocked. It will not be unblocked thanks to Streamlabs for blocking that comment. Joey, good morning, brother.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I mean, Sharif celebrating. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that, man. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Let's take a look at what we had going on this morning. Oh, IBIT with a big-time volume anomaly right here, guys. You can see that increase in volume. I had to check it on multiple platforms. Seems to be genuine. Someone offloading a bunch of shares right now. So, I mean, we had that scalp pull back, and I never re-engaged. So I'm like, what's wrong? Nothing, KT. I was going to mention something, but we're going to leave the limelight and all the excitement for my boy Sharif there.
Oh, no, you got some good news, man. Katina Man already kind of touched on it, but
Yeah.
you know, I knew about it immediately because he put it on his Instagram, so I figured that's exactly what had happened.
Yeah,
but you're a hockey guy too, man. You can celebrate.
I've been a hockey guy.
You've been a hockey guy.
Been since I've been a JIT. I should say that because, you know, I kind of stepped away. I would stop watching them for a little bit. But your Toronto Maple Leafs, for the third time in franchise history, have received the first overall pick 10 years after picking #1 in Austin Matthews.
Yeah, I figured that's who they probably picked.
Right? I think the other guy was Wendell Clark in the 70s or something along those lines.
Was it actually?
It was, man.
Former assistant.
Who
shout out to the man.
Then got traded
I remember that. That was
for Matt Sundin.
That was bad. I remember that. People were crying in Toronto.
Matt Sundin is now head of hockey ops in Toronto. So,
Yeah.
I mean...
I figured you'd like that, though. Isn't he a little bit of a check on that other guy that with the franchises that you don't like?
Chaika. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't even really matter the
See the question they asked him, though?
Yeah, of course.
They asked him basically, are you the final say? He danced around it.
Even though I'm not happy with the team, I pay way more attention than what people actually understand because I'm involved with the game. I played the game. I didn't play it at the highest level, but I played extremely competitive hockey. So I'll always love it. And it's a love-hate relationship with these guys. They'll find a way to mess this up somehow. I don't know how they'll do it. But anyways, enough is enough. Enough of the sports talk. Let's get right into these markets.
Let's get right to work,
I see a lot of people talking about, hey, Joe, what's going on? We want to look at some AMD puts. We want to do this and we want to do that.
Whoa.
And it's like, oh, my Lanta, let's go one step at a time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Breathe. Moving forward. Woosah. Woosah. I remember when someone told me once at my old company, there was a couple kids who had anger management problems. If they ever got mad, go sit under a tree for a little bit. All right? Now, moving forward. AMDL, guys. We're going to just take it nice, calm, and easy right here.
Got it, Joey.
And then we had this one trade. So we're going 2 for 2 here on the day. Okay. Boom, a nice pop-up. You grab a couple of dollars here on AMDL, and then we get stopped out break even. Did I look for that top? No, I was looking for 50-50 as my final out, but we weren't fortunate enough to get that. Then you have that curl over, and you start to really come back in. We already went over the IBIT trade. We'll do it one more time just because we're feeling like that. But mistrain. I think there's going to be another opportunity to get involved, whether it be a short or the long side. A nice pop-up here, but then it actually went towards my target at 46.40, but we got stopped out break-even. No issues whatsoever. Okay, we're going to take one more step forward here, and that's going to be looking at the AMD options chain. We're talking about puts, but first thing we have to do is correlate what we got going on with the daily. So as we look at the daily, are we really going to be interested? How much time are we willing to buy? And is it ready? Is it time? And there's so many factors that we have to take into consideration here. Our implied volatility, right, because we're going to be paying an increase in premium, but also where we're sitting, and do we really want to stand in front of this freight train? Is this going to be the time? I'm not going to say yes, and I'm not going to say no. Let's take a look at the technicals first before we even make any irrational decision if we're ready, because I do like the idea that someone was talking about, hey, Joe, AMD puts. Well, look at this, right? Like, I was talking about how we just been on this insane run. This stock is up over 100% in the past month, right? And then now we're starting to form this indecision print at a gap up high. Now, you can really have your risk profile defined, but you have to give it a lot of space, $22, right? If it breaks that high, you get out of dodge. But I do believe at some point this gap up will get filled to the downside. You just have to be patient and be prepared to take that trade. But I'm telling you right now, what I am going to be doing is if we see all these chip names running into earnings, I'm going to take my shot. I heard Sean say it this morning, say, hey, at least you're putting yourself in the right place at the right time. Now, if probability doesn't work in your, or is in your favor, but it doesn't work out, that's fine. I'm looking at NVDA calls into that earnings report, and I'm going to be buying them prematurely, not exactly on that report day, because I want to see if NVDA is going to say, hey, this is my turn to go on this big time run now, and let's get involved with that.
I like that thinking, and I think we've been feeling hints of that lately, right?
Yeah.
The cycling out and the stagnation of the price of NVIDIA,
absolutely.
And the definite rise. That's honestly not even a fair enough term. This thing's been rocketing up, AMD that is. All right, guys, let's get right down to work. I'm not liking a whole lot right now. Here, let's bring it up. OSS is looking the best of the bunch. I'm waiting for a trend change. I was actually thinking about getting into this and giving it to prior bar low. Current bar, the 1105 bar on the 5 is holding prior bar low, and we're getting some bottoming tail candles in and around 15. Now, this actually is quite bullish, and the reason I say that, take a look at the price action here from 945 till about 1025. Look how many bottoming tail candles we had. So there's aggressive buying on the dips, and it's been characteristic to this one, at least, intraday. I haven't really looked beyond today's price action. So I'm thinking about getting in. The only thing really holding me back is this sequence of events. Area high, 1596, lower high, albeit, of course, with these bottoming tail candles. So I'm looking at OSS. I've got more to talk about, but we got to go to Adair with news.
Keep an eye on USO. Just popped in here, tried to pop into 135, now pulling back. Worth noting, we have some comments here from Galibaf, the parliamentary speaker of Iran, saying that their enemy, quote, hopes for economic pressure. I'm guessing they're referring to the U.S. They said the possibility of a military attack is, quote, not low. So much like Israel here, Iran indicating there could be a possible military attack. I'm also seeing a recirculation of headlines, this time from Wall Street Journal, about that possible one-page letter here, one-page brief for the U.S. and Iran for negotiations. Looks like that's re-reporting of old news, but I wanted to mention it because I'm seeing it circulate. Eli Lilly on Watch, President Trump posting about an announcement that Eli Lilly already made about their $4.5 billion Indiana manufacturing site investment. Back to you.
Are you short and long?
No.
Okay.
That's why T-Money or somebody in the chat, yeah, T-Money was like, are you copy trading? No, it's just over the past couple of days, during the rollover, until one of us put on a position, it typically doesn't change. So no, I am not. I don't even know what that means, really. And my guy, Jesse Martinez, Gorev, congratulations, by the way, on that INTC trade. Hopefully that continues to work out for you. And Jesse, that would never make me happy, my friend. We need you to be up. Who cares if you're red? There's still plenty of time left. But also just be aware of where you're currently sitting. If it's like, hey, it's not my time, it's not my sentiment, then we get out.
Good. All right, perfect. I just did a quick test trade on GCTK. It resets the position board. Fantastic. Good job, Katina Man. Katina Man, $1 in the money on the Amazon short. Keep your eyes out on his levels. He's active in the chat. If you want to know what the Katina Man is trading, keep your eye. You got to join us in the chat. Otherwise, you're not going to know what Sean's trading. Simple as that. Okay, so here we go. OSS. We're making a move here. It's breaching prior bar high. This is what I'm looking for. I'm going to give it to prior bar low. But it's perfect, Fabian. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Let's give OSS a quick look here on the multi-time frame. So prior bar low takes us down into 1518. I previously had my out at 1508. That changes the situation now. So, got to go on to the OSS screen. Let's see what we can get here. We're going to go for that many shares. We're going to get a 1517. Let's give that one the old community college try. Soar to speak, of course. I like the way OSS... What happened? Oh, I thought I got in. Okay, I guess I didn't. There we go. All right, sorry, guys. I thought I got in. It's not punching in. Oh, am I typing the right keys? It's rejecting my order. Yeah, it's rejecting my order, Kutim. The symbol for the trader is blocked. So this one doesn't do, I guess, enough shares. Just going to do a quick test trade. No. So it's blocked on our system. We can ask for it to get unblocked, but it's just going to take some time here. So I'll leave OSS alone for now until we can kind of figure that out. But OSS is looking the best of the bunch, quite frankly, into area high, 1596 area high. But we're a little bit consolidative in terms of trend. Now, there was an individual in the chat pointing out ERNA. I have a couple of names here that are approaching or at VWAP that could be good, but they could also be trouble. So in that case, you could look at them as possible shorts. So ERNA had a monster 830, ripped up. It closed out at $4 or thereabouts yesterday in one 5-minute candle at 833. Why is it showing me 833 on a 5-minute chart? That's bizarre. Let's look over here. What time was it, Joey? Usually it's, it is literally 8:33. That's weird. How can it show me 33 on a 5-minute? But in any event, this one ripped up from $4 to $7.17, but it's basically been a sell all day subsequent. That's the 9:30 implied balance open. It tried to go into Greensville. That's why you're seeing 623 as the official day high, but the pre-market high, as I mentioned, 718. Now, this one just got into VWAP, so the individual in the chat that I was talking to is like, be careful for a VWAP rejection. A lot of times what's happening, guys, why we're moving back into VWAP is there's a lot of short coverings. So short covering, the only way to cover short is that you'll buy, right? So the buyers see that and they ride the kind of short covering up as well with the shorts. But then it gets into VWAP where people stop short covering and the buyers stop buying, and then we get basically a VWAP rejection. Now, whether or not you make lows into that 457, your guess is as good as mine. What I'm going to wait for is a decisive clearing of $6. It's close enough to VWAP, which is at 570, for me to say, all right, I'm going to wait to see a little bit more than just a VWAP reclaim. I want a whole dollar reclaim and a hold above that before I get involved. But ERNA should feature on your list today if you're small cap gapper inclined. A similar look, but looking better, is GCTK. I didn't want to touch this one for the problem that we always talk about. Once these ones lose VWAP, especially if they were making big moves in the pre and then basically have been below VWAP since the opening bell, it's hard for them, it seems anyway, to reclaim area highs or really start trending higher. But this one is making a good attempt at it here. Now, what I want to see is can it breach that previous attempt at 945 right at the implied balance open above that $1.18. It just made a quick attempt there into $1.14. Let's see if this one can change trend. Take out the pre-market high, which is that 410 candle on the 5-minute, $1.33 pre-market high, $1.18 official area high. Let's see what this one has to offer. It's up big. It's up like 55%. Should note, no triple-digit winners today, above 25 pennies, having done more than 1 million shares. Those are the parameters that I use on my scanner. So GCTK in focus. There are others, they're not as good. Mask. This is a holdover from yesterday. You can see we've been looking at Mask for a few days, broke out Monday in the aftermarket, had a bit of a zigzaggy day today, and here we are again today, taking out the pre-market highs of Monday. The aftermarket high on Monday. The pre-market high, which was the high of the day yesterday, and we made a new kind of local area high into 274. We're putting in some higher lows, but we're off the highs by about 14 pennies. So keep your eye on Mask. And then a little bit of a more, I want to say, less voluminous name is BLMN, and it has this tendency to have these outsized volume candles, and then there's like a chasm where there's no volume prints or any good volume prints, liquidity, for a while. You can see that through the zigging and zagging on the volume bars at the bottom. It is a lot closer to the highs than it is to anything else over here. So BLMN, quite respectful also of the 10 EMA on the 5. And then I've got a few more, but we got to go to Adair with news.
Keep an eye here on some of these credit card companies. Here's MasterCard. It'll pull up AXP, and it'll also pull up Visa. Seeing reports that senators are probing credit card companies on buy now, pay later. I looked at Affirm as well, pushing today's low, but it was already kind of weak here. Again, guys, keep an eye on Affirm and some of these credit card companies as senators reportedly probe credit companies or credit reporting companies, specifically here with buy now, pay later efforts. AFRM at day's lows. Back to you.
Remember Affirm? We always used to talk about them. They don't make money off the loans. They only make money off if you miss a payment. They charge you an administrative fee. Not anymore, dude. You know what they're charging on some of these loans? Like if you try to
now pay later,
15% APR.
So you may as well just put it on a credit card.
A credit card, Joey.
Yeah, it's 5%. I understand.
5, 10, 15%, depending on like what kind of credit card you have. But that's good. That's net interest. You okay?
Yeah.
What's this guy doing? He's listening to music on the midday.
Man, you don't listen to Sade?
I know about Sade. I'm not a fan.
What?
No. She comes on my thing every now and again. DJ X on Spotify.
Yeah, that's why I need to get on. You said you had a couple more.
I had a couple more. Just one more, Joey.
Yeah.
OSS is ripping. We can't get into this one, but at 1596, it's 1576. OSS right now is ripping. So is Mask. Couple of more here. Mankind, MNKD. It's got a bunch of lower highs. You know, look, if it finds some support here, it takes out that 415 where we seem to get 410 to 415 where we got a lot of selling, we'll get involved, but I'm not liking the look of this one's jib. Last but not least, SKYX. Another, issue with liquidity on this one, but you got to put some respect on this one's name. A penny off the high, $1.37, but the liquidity is drying up, so you're getting price action, volume divergence right now, where the volume bars are making lower highs. Price action, though, Joey, higher highs.
It's Sade? I didn't know, but it's spelled S-A-T-E, so he was Sade.
Is that how it's
Is that how it's said?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea, man. Anyways. All right, Sade. All right, you guys know what you're talking about, man. Kiss of love, man.
Like shorty? Like Sade?
Sade? Yeah, there you go, man. Putting 2 to 2 together. What was I going to say? Yeah, Sade. Yeah, shout out to her. Anyways, 120 OTM. Let's see how this name's been moving. We have a couple trend line breaks in Bitcoin, so it looks like we might recover a little bit here on the day. And there's a big-time volume spike, so let's see if we can get one more retest and then maybe engage for an all-day grinder here in Bitcoin. All right. Slightly distracted. Let's pull this up here for our good friend Lele and head over to CRCL. Do we even have this thing on here, CRCL? I don't know what's going on with this platform sometimes.
Rapping, Joey.
Yeah, 120. Oh, but see, the thing is time. Time is everything, and the chances are of you breaking through this pivot. I mean, you're only $2 away from that level right now, but gaining any value within that specific contract in the next 2 days is going to be pretty tough. Okay, what is that worth? We'll go back to it one more time and see what we have going on. 289, even though we're on the up move, how has Theta been really affecting this? Let's pull up the chart itself and see what we have going on from a 5-minute standpoint. Liquidity is not an issue whatsoever. All right, we're not running into liquidity, but as you continue to climb, you can see you're at 384. It's just time decay really starting to step into this. So as of this morning, you still get a nice uptick in it, but don't forget, it will slowly lose value. You'll keep the intrinsic value on the contract as you get closer to expiration, but you'll lose the extrinsic, which is extremely important and note. So I wouldn't be surprised if it heads up into that level. Now we're just waiting for NVDA to rock and roll. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue short. This is on AMD. This is just a cover rally, in my opinion. Are you going to want to stand in front of it just yet? No. Be a little bit more patient. Once you enter that gap, and the chance of it being just a gap down are pretty high, in my opinion, and then it recover on that day. But nonetheless, I do believe that we can break support levels at some point and then continue to slide a little bit. The other, it's funny to think. It's like, okay, yeah, we were extended up in 300, and then we're like, okay, 320, that's crazy. 350, all right, it's even more wild. And then you continue to go, and it's just like, what is actually even happening here as the names continue to climb? And it's like, all right, you have to be a little bit more patient, because when the market is this exuberant and wanting to continuously buy up the chip game, remember earlier in the year, we're like, yeah, the chip trade is dead. Everybody was like kind of scared of it, and it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. You guys can continue to think what you want. We're going to buy this up over and over and over again, and that's just been the narrative. Bitcoin's continuing to climb, and we're going to have a bull flag breakout here on NVDA. So a lot going on right now, looking for some high-quality opportunities. We get that breakthrough VWAP, a pullback, and then we're going to engage in some more Bitcoin. But look at the volume really start to step in on the lower time frames as you're punching through resistance zones here on NVDA. All right, we have a $5 super chat. Pew, pew, pew.
What's going on, Katina, man?
Joe, Triple Q's covered calls, 623, May 29th. Roll it now, far away to cover the cost, or wait to get closed and then roll it. Any recommendations? Let's pull it up, man. I got to get the numbers up here. 623? What are you doing? That's $70 ago. What are we even doing here? $70 ago there, my friend. Yeah, I would look to roll those. I mean, the market has gone extremely high. Just roll them to the point where it's just like, okay, you don't, even though it'll be in the back of your mind where you don't really have to worry about it. If you have the 623 covered calls on the NASDAQ, you're in trouble right now, and you're going to have to pay a little bit of a fine. But if you've been in the NASDAQ for quite some time, then yeah, sure, it'll just chew up into some of your unrealized gains. But those 623 CCs aren't looking good, man. They're worth $7,000 right now. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, I understand, like, if you're below that and you're thinking potentially that it's going to drop drastically, you collect a little bit of theta, but that's still $70 away. CCs, what we want to do over here is like, all right, let's go to 30 days. May, I don't even know what month. I don't even know what time of day it is half the time. Anyways, aside from that, here it is. Let's pull up. Let's go further out. We're sitting at, what's our price, 692. Let's go up to the 800 just for giga. It's not even worth it. 735, 705. Nah, these aren't even worth it 30 days out. Let's go another week to see if we're going to start collecting a little bit more. You see this uptick? You get $1,000 for the 710s in 37 days. I just don't know if covered calls, like the thing is, as we continue to climb, implied volatility drops, right? And with that being said, there's less fear within the market. So until you start to see the market come back in a little bit, you can look at rolling, but just be patient, and you might be able to collect some more premium as the market starts to slide back in when it does, because eventually it will. Is it going to right now? Who knows? Can we continue to climb? Absolutely. Especially if people start to feel more FOMO, and it depends how much cash is sitting on the sidelines as well, too. It's like, oh, we need to get in on this rally. Well, it's like, okay, well, you missed it 100% ago and 30, 40% ago. But nonetheless, be patient. Your time will come. Roll them if you have to, but go higher and further out. That's my opinion.
Good call, Joey. People keep yelling about NVIDIA.
Yeah, man.
NVIDIA's at day's highs, guys. NVIDIA's ripping here. I'm not going to trade it, but we can certainly look at it over here. Wow. Great bull flag breakout. Look at the bull flag. Assassino. The bull flag breakout right at the 930 mark, and it probably caught a lot of people offside because you got a big wick there into about 198 and 2/3. So if you're looking for an area stop below that pre-market area low into 199 and change, there it goes again into another day high. Now clearing 5% in the Ville of Green is AMD, and trust me, bro, there's a plethora of shares having changed hands already. Let me just double check over here. The number one volume leader in the world of Mag 7, 78 million shares, and it's not even close. I'm just trying to find out who's number two. Is it Tesla? Is it Tesla? 17.5 million shares. Then Microsoft, and then Apple, 17.3. So NVIDIA, by far the volume leader. You're going to have a lot of liquidity there on whatchamacallit. NVDA. Good look there, ripping into today's highs. Already, I already got stopped out here. Below the $0.50. Did that breach? This one's saying it was too. How'd that happen? Oh, I guess it did print below. That's quite frustrating on MASK. So let's get right back into that because it's regaining trend, and I'm going to give it a little bit below. Let's go 247. Let's go 247, then we'll stop out. Let's say 245. There we go. So we'll see what we get there. That was a bit of a boneheaded trade. I should have been putting that. I did put it below the $0.50. I put it at 49. My chart's showing that it didn't breach 50, but I guess it did. Maybe there was an area of illiquidity there on MASK. Look, I'm not liking a whole lot here, guys, other than OSS, and we still can't trade that, but there is MASK, which is putting in higher low. So we're going to give this one the old college try, looking for a 65 break, because there's certainly resistance here at 65, whether you were looking earlier at 8:50 a.m. when we rejected that exact level, then there's a double top, 11:10, 11:15, rejecting that 65 penny area. I realized that the high of the day is 74, but take a quick look. We didn't spend too much time there. So I'm looking for a resumption of trend, and ideally we get a 65 break. What's up?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
All right, so let's continue on. BLMN, yeah. So this one just got into high day 823. You had a bit of a drop there into the 8 single digits. It did lose the 10 EMA momentarily. Let's take a quick look at the 15. How's this one charting on the 15? A lot of topping tail candles here. So an aggressive profit taker taking profits, ironically enough, into 8 1/3. Okay. So we'll have to keep an eye. I'm less likely to want to enter BLMN just because of the illiquidity issues. And then GCTK is starting to look a little bit better. I don't want to be buoyed by this one too much, because what I was looking at, I'm like, oh, wow, this is the 4th candle now that's holding above the volume weighted average price. This must mean it's reclaimed it. Well, let's take a look over here, 930. Maybe a bit more volatile of a time, but nonetheless applicable. 930 candle all the way to 1005, held above VWAP, then you saw what happened. It barely held on to the dollar. And here it is, losing VWAP again. GCTK not ready to go, and as such, I'm not getting involved in it until it is. But there's nothing here, Joey. ERNA not holding up. It's just BLMN and the one I'm involved in, MASK. MNKD not liking. Get ready to wet the beak, says Luke. Sidhu says JL88. Not the do. Man, I haven't seen Obi in a while. How he's doing? Load up the do. Oh, the dew is breaking out to the tune of what? 11 and a fifth. Not bad. Sorry, Katina, man. He doesn't realize that I'm always saying these type of things on the midday. SIDU, let's throw in the ticker there. Pardon me. Yeah, this is a good one. Thank you for that, JL80, 822, is it? 822, yeah. Okay, good look here for Sidhu. It's really about who I'm going to take off the side charts over here. We're going to take off Mankind, MNKD. We'll leave it on the watch list, but we're going to take it off the side charts. We're going to keep Sidhu on here. This is a nice breakout for Sidhu. There's a decent amount of volume, about 7 million shares traded hands on the day, which is not too bad. So I'm going to keep this one into focus here. Joey, see what we can get. Yeah, I see Joby. I just don't really want to talk about it. I'm still out of the money on Joby, so it's still on Uncle Sheriff's you-know-what list, but I'm holding it for more of the long term. But it did report earnings yesterday. It was a bit of a clearer guide as to when to expect production and et cetera. All the details, we'll get to that on the news. But it's obviously having trouble with $10. Not surprising there because that is the whole dollar psychological level. JOBY has certainly seen better days. This needs to get above 15. I'm $5 out of the money on this one with a cost basis of about 15 and a quarter, 15 and a half, something like that. So we're substantially out of the money on this one, but I'm going to be patient with Joby. We'll see what we get. Won't get upset. Shut to my man, Neil.
Yeah, someone asked me, Joe, what's your next trade here? I mean, we're going to have to let the trading gods decide that one. We're going to be patient and wait for something. I got a little story for you guys. I'll tell you a little bit later when we get more in storytell mode, maybe after Luis or something along those lines. I think you guys will like this one. Story time with Joe. But AMD's, pardon me?
Can we hear it now?
You want to hear it now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's get right into it.
With it.
All right. So for those who are familiar with Lemony Snicket's a series of unfortunate events.
Oh.
Yeah. Just in
Starting
case
off like that.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, Shree.
Oh.
So, full disclosure, I have to get it off my chest.
Okay.
Past couple of mornings, been miserable like a dog. Miserable like a dog. And it all started here, all right? So the other night, I'm cooking dinner. I have my fajitas ready and everything. I have my vegetables chopped, blah, blah, blah. I'm starving. I haven't eaten since lunchtime here. It's now 8 o'clock. I went to the gym, take Milo out, so on, so forth. I'm all ready to eat. So as I'm ready to eat, what do? I go to reach for something, boom. Knock the glass over. Glass shatters, prolongs my dinner for another 10, 15 minutes. Got to clean it up, can't allow Milo to step into this stuff. All right? So event number one, prolonged dinner. I'm now hangry. I'm not happy whatsoever. So what happens the next day? I wake up, blah, blah, everything's going fine. On my merry way to work, and then what happens? Every right turns road coming up University, it's closed. Okay, so I'm like, all right, this is getting a little bit frustrating. We had the glass break yesterday. Now the roads are all closed.
Right.
So and then I park the car. I get out. Boom, bang my funny elbow. I'm like, okay, like what is going on here? Not so funny. A lot going on. I'm getting really, really frustrated. Okay. Right? I'm hungry and everything along those lines. Is not sleeping the best. So then later on that evening, the next day, I'm like, all right, gym, take Milo out. I'm like, I want to go and buy myself some protein bars.
You deserve it.
I deserve it, right, as a snack, protein bars. Walk to the store, they have every single one except for the one you want. Except for the one that I want. So I'm like, what is even going on here? I'm like, all right, fine, that's fine. Drive home, I'm like, yeah, all right, things are a little bit better. Someone's in my parking spot.
Someone's in your parking spot. That's a fight.
It's
That's an immediate fight.
Immediately. So it's just like been one thing after the other. I'm like, listen, when can the boy catch a break, man? It's like, yeah, it was just a bad couple of days, but I mean, October 5th. No, yeah, man. I was just like, man, what is going on? It's just like, bro.
And usually they're pretty level-headed, SSC, you know, like Libras in general, except Ramram.
And I'm
like, you know, like,
man,
you know, usually they're pretty level-headed.
And there's a couple more things in between there that I'm completely forgetting. Yeah, this morning, no eggs left.
No eggs.
No eggs. And I'm like, man.
You talking about shakshuka?
Yeah, none left for the kid.
Well, I can help you out with that.
I've seen how many you had. All right, Adair.
All right, we're going to Adair.
We're going to start with the crypto-related earnings report. Now, I know we talk ad nauseum about how MSTR earnings don't really matter per se, and that is true, but one comment made, I guess, during the call is, I think, pretty significant. It comes from Strategy MSTR President and CEO Phong Le. Now, Michael Saylor, of course, the face of the company, but he's actually their chairman. He's not their CEO. So CEO Phong Le actually opening the door to the possibility of MSTR selling Bitcoin. Now, we know Michael Saylor has had a never sell approach, but Phong Le saying that they would consider selling Bitcoin either to buy US dollars or to buy debt if it's accretive to Bitcoin per share. So that's a consideration here. They did lose $12.5 billion. That is $12.5 billion net loss in the quarter due to Bitcoin price decline. So interesting look here for BTC for MSTR. Let's take a look at that Bitcoin chart. That's the 15. We'll switch to the daily here. Spiking as high as 80, just shy of 83,000 here, 82.8. Now we know there was some prior support going back here to almost 84,000. That area we have yet to test, but right now rejecting 83K, which was a low of the day going back to January 29th of 2026. Take a look at Ethereum because I know we didn't yesterday. ETH still not able to have that massive pop to the upside that Bitcoin is seeing. We'll have to wait and see if we get any more updates on the Clarity Act. We know we thought we had some stablecoin yield agreements here in terms of rewards, but now it looks like there's maybe more pushback coming from other aspects of the crypto industry. So keep an eye on Clarity Act related headlines, and we'll have to wait and see if Bitcoin if MSTR does end up selling any Bitcoin. Back to you.
Right. Thank you for that. Let me go over a couple of things. I went on my spiel. We'll talk a little stock, and everybody's liking the stories here. Oh, yeah, I can go on. There's a couple more that I forgot about, but we'll stop there and we'll talk a little bit more stock here as we have NVDA printing a new high of the day. And then we also have IBIT hovering above the volume-weighted average price here. It's crazy how this works. On the 1 minute time frame, you're above. On the 5 minute time frame, you're below. So it's just like, But anyways, yeah, exactly. So SPY, new high of the day. Is that putting it at the ATH? Yeah, another all-time high for the SPY. Not quite there yet in the NASDAQ. So we're going to be patient. We might get rocking and rolling here. You can see we're slowly starting to curl over. One thing that I have to be cautious about, and what I'm waiting for is some more data to be displayed, i.e. more 5-minute prints. And if we continuously hold structure here and print these higher lows, then I think we can get a curl over and then off to the races. I talked multiple times throughout the week in the fact that I'm waiting for that 1, 4, 5, 6% day. On Bitcoin. We have yet to get it. We've had a lot of strong sessions and a lot of strong moves. Now, let's wait for the shorts to get squeezed out, and then that's when we can really, really put in a big-time move. I like what NVDA is up to. Why? Just due to the fact that it's like, hey, it's my turn as we get closer and closer to its earnings report day. I like it. I told you I'm going to be buying contracts leading into it, whether it works or not. That's a totally different story, but I like our chances there. And then obviously the NASDAQ and the SPY. Yeah, all-time high. Like, I mean, 692, absolute parabolic move. What did we get from a percentage metric from the beginning of the month? I know we've been going over this quite often, but I hate being the individual, 25%. So there's a couple of years gains right there. If you're looking for an average of 10%, boom, just like that in the span of 1 month, you just sit on your hands a little bit, collect the dividend. Here, would we paying 73 cents? That's not as much as the SPY. I was just thinking, man, like imagine you just had 100,000 shares of this thing, and it's just like collect the dividend. Yeah, that's my, that would be the goal, even though I have 0. But anyways, so what I'm getting at here, this is what I wanted to do. Just be cautious, all right? Like, I mean, we're going up. You don't want to chase. Can we continue to climb? Absolutely. Can we come back in? Both scenarios can most definitely happen. You get 16% off of those lows in the SPY, but eventually you will get a pullback, and you will get a pullback to a level. So what can you do until then? If you have the cash on hand with multiple stocks, whether it be AMD, whether it be Micron, SanDisk, SPY, the NASDAQ, whatever name it can potentially be, is that you can sell some cash, sit on the sidelines, allow yourself to collect some premiums before you get that level to come into play that you're looking to purchase these names. Don't chase, and if you are, be prepared. Always have a plan, and that's what we typically say. All
right, man. I'm not liking the setup, as I was saying to somebody there, to Martell profit on mask. I'm going to give to below the volume-weighted average price. My stop's already in. It's dancing at VWAP. This is not the right time for me to exit this trade, but hey, if it loses VWAP, I'm out. It's really that simple. There it is. I already got out just as I was speaking. So we're 0 for 2 on MASK. Not going to get involved with this one until I see something fundamentally different, likely above 265. Also, I was looking for an entry on ERNA, and this one just absolutely failed, $6. I was gauging that the shorts were going to start covering near the high of the day. They didn't even wait, man. Or sorry, to initiate more shorts. That 11:30 candle got into about 603, and then this one failed and failed miserably from 603 all the way down into current bar low, 542. So ERNA, nope. Not cooperating. Keeping an eye on SIDU, a couple of topping till candles into 330. I'm looking for a setup on the DO right around 320. If that doesn't hold, I'm looking to VWAP, which is around 312, but I'd say a bit of a range there between 312 to 310. Reason being, you see that breakout there in the implied balance open above 310. So there could be an area resistance there, formerly resistance, now support. But you're seeing a couple of topping tail candles on the DO right now. But OSS is the best one in the market, quite frankly. It is holding up above the 10 EMA. No breaches whatsoever of the 10 EMA. This one is not available on our system, so we'll be able to chart it for you guys. But keep an eye out on that $16 area resistance. We are making a move here, though, trying to take out $16, 15.96 high, showing 15.65. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Joey, rarely am I not in something, holding here, but the day is not presenting itself as one that is conducive to a small cap gapper setup, and that's kind of the way that works. So we'll have to steer clear until something good comes in, and that could be, sooner rather than later. We'll wait, but While we're waiting, I can speak about this one. I'm not going to touch SKYX just because of the illiquidity. And let me just double check what the spread is on this one super quick. How come it's not on my I wonder if I go like this, if it'll flip to S. I can pull it up on a trading screen. We can figure that out. SKYX. I'm going to take off the mask, piece of crap. SKYX. What do we got? We got a 1 penny spread. What? How is that even possible? That is pretty good. All right, so my SKYX it is. A bunch of higher lows, a bunch of higher highs, very few, I should say, breaches of the 10 EMA on the 5. So look out for that. Couple of levels here at $1.30 if the 10 EMA doesn't hold. We're going to have to pause. We're going to Adara for breaking news.
SONY pushing higher here with volume, seeing reports the company is going to be paying almost $4 billion for the catalogs of Justin Bieber and Neil Young. SONY, again, pushing higher here and reports they could be paying nearly $4 billion to get the Justin Bieber and Neil Young catalogs. Back to you.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, we're going to take off. Who are we going to take off here? I'm going to take off Mask, and we're going to put on PMAX. Thank you, Grunfeld, for this one. Look, it's not the best I've ever seen, but hey, you know, beggars can't be choosers on a day like this. And PMAX is looking okay. Problem with this one is a lot of topping tail candles, a lot of area highs, and then immediate retracements. And I want to say that there's really no respect for VWAP here. Look how many times it's breached it, whether in the pre, whether after the bell. VWAP, not exactly a line of best fit. It's more towards the lower end of the range, but no respect here for VWAP. So I'm less likely to want to base anything off that trade. It does look like, though, that $3 area is one of import here for PMAX. The reason I say that is, look at the resistance on the implied balance open at 3, loses it, uses 3 as resistance again, and now, at least on a 2-candle basis, it's using 3 as support. So PMAX could be one we execute on. Let me throw that on my risk calculator over here. We'll set up. So PMAX, a decent priced stock, one that we can definitely jive with, $3. Problem is, I can't base my out on VWAP. I would have to give it to that area low, which is the low of this candle, which takes me down to 279. So if I was to do that based upon my risk parameters, yeah, we can get involved in something like that, Joey. But with PMAX, I'm going to take a bit of a different strategy. I'm going to get in here with the assumption that 3 holds, generally. If it doesn't hold, I'm only going to get in half so that if it does retrace below the volume-weighted average price, I'm thinking mid to low 80s, I'll get in the other half. And then that way it won't be as big of a hit, because if I get in the mid 80s on a loss of VWAP in 3, then my out would be the 1105 bar low, the low of which, as I mentioned, 279. So that wouldn't be as much of a hit. So that's what I'm going to look for here on PMAX. Yeah, it's zigging and zagging with 3. So generally there are buyers here, Joey, at 3. So I'm gonna send to you so I can keep my eye on this one.
Absolutely. Another noodles, man, and you'll be all right, trust me.
Oodles and noodles. You ever had oodles and noodles before?
Yeah, I remember that stuff. That was like a 90s thing.
That was more of an American thing. I don't think we had too many of those over here.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of something else, man. Or, yeah, all right. Focus. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that on this show.
Yeah, that's all right, man. It's all good, man. It's all good. Another noodles.
Get it, Joe.
Hey, man. Welcome to the world of trading. Let's break things down a little bit. I get it. Like, there's so many times. The thing about trading is that the bad times are really bad and the good times never last long enough, right? So it's just like you don't take it. You're not as appreciative, right? So what I typically say, and this is a truth, this is me. I hate losing more than I enjoy winning, right? Like, winning is like, it's like, oh yeah, we won, but I feel more when I lose than when I feel when I win, all right? And I think that might be a little bit of an issue, but nonetheless, let's see what you have going on here with Tesla. I know a lot of my hockey buddies are like that as well, too. So anyways, you're saying, hey, you're short, and then you have this big engulfing. I don't know where you were short, but now that we're forming this consolidative zone, I often talk about this, is that if you're buying at the top, right, look where you're wrong. You can't really prove yourself to be wrong until this consolidation phase has been broken and you're south of the volume-weighted average price. But you're long all the way up here. And that's why positioning is extremely key. Is it going to work all the time? No, but from a theoretical standpoint, we want to try to get in the lower end of the range. Why? Because it can display ourselves what we know from a risk-reward standpoint where we're wrong. It's the same thing. You give yourself a little room and sell through the volume-weighted average price, but you're risking significantly less. And the same thing goes for a short. If you're looking to go short and you sell the lower end of the range and it doesn't want to break down and it's chopping, you're not proven wrong until it's actually breaking the high of the day. Now, if you were to get at the top end of the range, right, is much easier said than done. Look what the risk to reward does. So it's really important. Instead of risking multiple dollars on the short, so you're at 391, you have to risk almost $5 over here, opposed to you being in at 393 and having to risk $1.50. So where you're positioning yourself is extremely important. Does it always work like that? Absolutely not. Are you always going to get those levels? No way. It's just not the nature of the beast. But if you can try to position yourself and really set up that risk to reward, which adds another dynamic to trading and makes it a little bit more difficult, then by all means, continue to do so. But instead of getting stuck in this up and down and you're like, well, why isn't it breaking out? The volume's not there. You're just sitting in chop, but you're not positioned correctly. It can definitely make you lose your hair, right? You're just scratching your head and you're like, what's going on at the end of the day? Like, why isn't this working? There's so many things and there's so many variables in trading that you need to take into consideration. And I think that's what makes it so difficult at times. It's funny, and like I said, I'm just the type of individual, I dislike losing more than I enjoy winning, if that makes any sense. But sometimes what happens is it's like, oh, okay. Like when you put on a trade, it's like you put on one trade and it just works in your favor immediately. And you're like, well, this is so easy. But then the next day you do the exact same thing and it does the complete opposite. And then you try it again, it doesn't work. And you try it again and it doesn't work. Next thing you know, you're 1 for 4 or something along those lines. Well, it's like, I'm not changing up anything from what I was doing yesterday. Why? Because there's no one same session. Right? They show a lot of similarities, but nothing is the exact same in trading, and that's where pattern recognition comes into play. But it also can make things significantly more difficult. It's either the hardest thing, or it's like, hey, man, this is like literally shooting fish in a barrel, which isn't always necessarily the case here in trading.
Well said. All right, a couple of profit takers here on PMAX, nothing to write home about. Looking for the next one at 11s. 1R for me is going to be 23, so we still have a long way to go on this one. Let's pack the patience. Let's see if it holds 3, but as I mentioned, strategy here is I'm looking for a general hold of the area low. The area low in my humble submission is 279, hence why we have a planned DCA, dollar cost average, right around the mid to high 80s level on PMAX. Looking for, first and foremost, a 3 hold, but knowing full well 3 may not hold, I'm looking for that area in the 2 mid 80s for another add there. Now, OSS is just ripping up into 15.99. Here comes 16. There is 16. There's the breach of 16 into 01s. OSS, really, it's basically, I want to say, almost the #1 gapper right now. EVC technically is, but it's basically doing nothing. It's trading below VWAP. Breakout yesterday in the aftermarket. OSS up 64, EVC up 71. There goes OSS into 1608. It is absolutely ripping up here. Neil, can we get that one unblocked? OSS. Thank you. Yeah, I'll give it another try, but I was getting not available for trader. Let's put OSS. Let's do a quick test trade here with 1 share. Yeah, no, still blocked. So probably it doesn't do enough liquidity. That's why we just need to get it unblocked in our system. Good, obviously, risk management by the boys in the back there. Make sure that you don't punch in something that's not doing any volume there, Joey, and then have trouble getting out. So we'll get that unblocked. But OSS is absolutely ripping. Above 16, looks like there's some short covering here or some shorts getting stopped out because that move above 16 was quite aggressive. So we'll keep tabs on that. And then down goes PMAX, losing 3. Again, I have this planned out. Let's see if VWAP features here. My observation is that VWAP hasn't featured as an area of support or resistance, hence why I was looking to that area out at the 1105 bar low, which is 279. Let's see if I can get triggered here on a planned DCA into the mid-80s, but absolutely looking like it may lose trend over here on PMAX. We'll keep a close eye out on that one. People have been calling out, what's that other one people are saying Oh yeah, SMX, that's it. Let's bring in that one. Bring this in. SMX looks okay. Ripping into area high. The problem is with SMX though, it's a little light on vol, man. What do we got on this one? No, we have 4 1/3 million shares. It's not that bad. Why does the chart look so, oh boy. All right, it's crashing out here. So we'll have to give the chart a chance to compose itself. But in the meantime, what we can do is we can load it up on a trading screen. SMX on the NQ, 1 penny spread, not bad as I mentioned. 4 1/3 million shares over here, really going. Looks like it's breaking above the $0.50, so not a bad look here for SMX, up 35%. Shout out to Grunfeld for pointing this one out to me. I'm going to remove mask again, and we're going to put SMX on the side chart, and we'll look to execute on this one. My move would require either a 50 hold or a 45 hold. Take a quick look over here at that area resistance at 45 initially, give or take. The problem is it would have to lose the $0.50. So we're going to keep a close eye on this one, see if we can possibly get in a little bit over here at around the $0.50. If that fails, I'm looking for 45.
Yeah, absolutely. What's going on there? Yeah, Nick, I don't know what you mean by that, but I appreciate that. No, I lost everything made in my 20s in my 30th year. Hey, man, it's 4 years younger than me, man. And you know what they typically say? I know you said you've lost a lot of things, but you haven't really made it until you lost it all, and then you got to pack up. What kind of character that builds? Trust me, I've been there. I remember I was year like 1.5, year 2 of my trading journey, and I'm like, okay, like I'm really catching on to things. Leading into vacation, equity curve steady up and to the right. I'm like, I'm really getting that. I feel like I'm prepared to take that next step. Well, yeah, as soon as that little bit of confidence steps in and you start to make any decision, you think you know better than the market, which is just an entity that doesn't even know you exist or care if you exist at the end of the day, can take it all away from you. So I've been there, and I did it last year as well too. Told you guys, more than doubled my account. Boom. You decide to go heavy, and I told myself you have to be prepared. Does it take a mental toll on you? Absolutely, but it's the strong survive, and you have to just keep on pushing, no matter what, no matter how much it makes you feel. Go sit in your corner, do what you have to do. Take a break for a couple of days and then just get back into that warrior mentality and that gladiator style, because that's what it is, man. Trust me. If anything's going to beat you up until you feel like you can't take it anymore, it's this stuff right here. Trust me. But it's not really, you're telling me, man. This is someone who is, I wouldn't call myself highly emotional, but I feel deeply, I think. Anyways, let's get into some stocks here. What are we doing? Are we waiting for IBIT to break up? What is even going on with this name? I would have to be wrong at this level. We can take a stab. That's 15 cents of risk here on IBIT. I like our chances, consistent higher lows. If it breaks the trend line, this is what I'm referring to right here. If it snaps it and heads on the other side, we have a couple of things working for us. Backside of this downtrend, bang, and then we also have the consistent higher lows. So why not? What are we even doing here if we're not going to take those shots? As they typically say, you miss 100% of them that you don't take. So let's get involved, even though we are south of VWAP. We'll start relatively small, and then if we have the ability to add a little bit more and it curls around, then off to the races we go. Bitcoin, big time recovery off of the lows. We're in the 81,000 plus levels. So why not, right? We've missed that initial leg. It is what it is. The deeper that I look at this, the less I kind of like it, to be honest with you. So yeah, lower highs right here. So let's do this. Let's be patient. Let's wait until we sit on top of 46.32. Right, we don't want to front run this. We don't want to anticipate. We want to participate. And with that being said, we're going to have to wait for a pullback. Now, NVDA coming off of those highs. And how has Tesla been performing for our friend, Other Noodle? You said you're long now? Oh, there you go. Right? So imagine you were long at the lower end of the range. If you're long now at the top end of the range, you're still in the money. So don't worry, don't panic. Nice ebb and flow, bull flag pattern being formed here on Tesla. And if we head over to the higher time frame and we kind of phase out a little bit of this noise, it's not looking horrible, right? There's nothing from a resistance zone standpoint aside from maybe this level. So watch out for Tesla to start to find some form of a rebound. And at some point, maybe this week, you break through some of these key pivot levels and you punch through that 410. We already know we're on the backside of this trend. So boom, let's see if we can start to rock and roll. Now, I want to go over the NASDAQ one more time, because where have we seen this before? right? Like there's the NASDAQ. Look what Microsoft is doing. I mean, it was all fun and games, and I typically say that until it wasn't. You're jumping on the bed until someone gets hurt, right? It's all fun, and then you know what your parents said. It's all fun until, and then someone starts crying.
It's like me and my cousin. Yeah, that's like it's so funny.
Exactly, man. It's
When
all
we were
fun and games
younger.
until someone gets hurt, and someone starts crying, then it's not so much anymore, right? So we have this nice move in the overall market. We've seen it in AMD on multiple occasions. Off to the races it goes, and other names. Eventually, you will get some form of a pullback. Is it going to be as deep as we are anticipating? Well, I mean, let's talk about it. The initial one wasn't in the Qs. And we said this from before. It's like, okay, we have a lot of the Mag 7 down 20+% with the exception of Apple, which was only down 14%, and the NASDAQ was only down 12%. Once those names really caught a bid, look what the overall market started to do. It's just like, yeah, okay, whatever you guys want to do. We're going to do our own thing, and off to the races we go. We're going to continuously put in these new all-time highs day after day. But just wait for things to break. Wait for it to be on the backside of this trend. And then if you do get some form of a pullback, who knows? It's a buy-the-dip scenario. I think that's going to be the narrative here in the market. Let's get involved in some Bitcoin. Enough rambling on from me. We're starting to get those levels that we like. So let's do it. Let's rock and roll. Let's see if we can get a breakup, and we'll sit in this position for as long as we can.
There goes SMX. Bought the bottom on that retracement. Looking for a move now above 71. We got 59s, taking out about half the position so far. Come on, take out that 79 area. A couple of topping tail candles. This doesn't look good. We need a breach of prior bar high. Here we go again. This could be a lower high. So if you're in SMX with me here, watch out for the lower high on the 5 relative to the whatever prior candle was. Can't even look at the time. Probably the 1150 candle. Looking for continuation. There's 68. We need a 71 breach. So I'm looking for that. Let's see, 68, 69, seller now. Oh, wow. Geez, someone came in with a monster sell order, getting bought up. De-risking a little bit over here because of that aggressive sell. Be on the lookout here, guys. We could fail. I've given it to prior bar low. Prior bar low was 153, so I've given it to 152, but there's no continuation. Happy that I was able to scalp. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to give it to current bar low. Current bar low is 155, so we'll go ahead and lock in some of the profits there in case this one is to fail. So here we go. It looks like it might fail here, so we're going to keep a close eye out on that. I don't want to take it out because it could breach the area high, but I did move up my stop, so a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Now, PMAX holding, I waxed poetic about how this one wasn't really featuring with VWAP, but in any event, seems to be holding generally that volume-weighted average price. And then I also got into SIDU. I'm looking for SIDU to hold the 10 EMA. If SIDU can hold the 10 EMA, I'm not risking a whole lot on the DO. So I'm in at 325. I'm giving this to 322. The reason is because SIDU hasn't breached the 10 EMA on the 5 essentially all day. So if it does now, then I don't want to be a part of it. But there goes PMAX again below the volume weighted average price. Still hasn't breached my area of 279, the area low at 1105. So I'm going to leave this one, let it manifest. If I take a hit on it, I take a hit on it. But that's kind of what my story. I'm sticking to it. Keeping an eye on the DO, showing the $0.25. Let's go back to SMX because here it is again, trying to breach that area high, 68. Let me flip to the 5-second here on SMX so I can get a better understanding of where the local resistance is coming in. And it does seem to be lower highs right now. So area high 71, prior area high 70, and here we are 68 now. So it's lower high, lower high, lower high on the 5. Doesn't mean that we're going to lose it, but it's something to be attentive to. Area low 153. That was at around 1154-ish. So something to keep a lookout there. So what I'm looking for is a change in trend. And here's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at my top screen. So see how it's making lower highs on the 5-second chart? So what I need is a decisive change. Now, it doesn't have to take out 71. What it does have to is to take out the prior area high. And here it is at 69er. Looking for a little bit more, looking for the breach of 70. Seller, aggressive seller at 69 over here. Can't shake him, Joey. And here comes 69. There it is. We breach. There's 71. Looking for the move now above 71. Shorts are pretty staunchy in how they feel about this one because they're still defending that high of the day. We can't breach that 71 penny area, not even on a wick basis. So Going to continue to watch this one, and I'm looking for a bigger squeeze, and there it is into 72. So that's an official breach, but no continuation. Right back into 71 it goes, although we got a bunch of 72 prints there on the time and sales. So, Joey, I'm going to send this to you while I throw out some orders.
That was good. I like what the hood's doing right now, Gaurav, to be honest with you. Even we have that indecision print. We missed that, but now we're above the volume weighted average price. What we will wait for is a retest of this 77.20 zone, and then maybe we can find an opportunity there. I don't want to give back too much profit on the day. Lock in the session. I just put this on for you guys, to be honest with you. Otherwise, I would have been just like that. But all right, guys, you know what time it is. It's happening now, and then it's Neil with his lesson of the day.
I think a lot of what's happening right now here in this market is just digesting these headlines related to oil and also, concerns about whether or not we're even going to be getting a rate cut. Now, as I showed you guys, right now we don't even have any rate cuts priced in at all in 2027, according to the CME FedWatch tool. That could change. I'll keep you posted as we update these. But either way here, guys, S&P 500 falling a little bit from these intraday highs. It was still up on the day, again, on reports that the U.S. and Iran are nearing a peace deal, something that's been disputed by Iran, at least from some Iranian leaders here. And then also with Israel saying they had no idea either. Keep an eye here also on the Q, slightly lower high. I'm seeing a headline too in weight loss drugs, so I'll just pull it up for you guys. Here's VKTX pushing higher. Novo Nordisk on watch too. Novo CEO Mazir Mike Dustar reportedly saying that the company is more active than ever in seeking out deals. So VKXT could potentially be a buyout target for NVO. GPCR, another one that could potentially be a buyout target here. So once again here, Novo Nordisk reportedly seeking out buyout deals. They reported earnings before the bell, and so did AMD. Well, AMD reported last night, but I digress. AMD on watch here with strong growth across their data center revenue, 57% year over year here, and embedded revenue also, along with client and gaming to the upside. Overall revenue growth for AMD was 38%. After the bell tonight, we get a whole bunch of companies, including Beyond Meat. But if you're looking for more, I don't want to say Beyond Meat's not a serious company, but you also have the likes of ARM, AppLovin, etc. Stronger companies, I'll put it that way, that are reporting after the bell. So if you like the memes, or if you like companies that have strong earnings behind them, either way, we'll have those for you. I believe we're going to be going over some of these numbers at 4 p.m. when they come out. We'll send you over to Neil in his lesson of the day. Neil?
Thank you, Adair. You had me at stronger companies, not comparing Beyond Meat to ARM, and we're gonna. That is so perfect because you don't want to be overly critical of a company like Beyond Meat, but I feel like there's a lot of not nice ways you could have said that. Oh, missed the lesson of the day yesterday. I had to step out. I had an appointment I had to keep and then came back, but this is twofold. So I want to talk about like a concept that I mentioned before, but it was what I was going to say yesterday. I think it applies at all times, and Joe said something that made me want to go into it. Before I do that, just very simply, there was something in the chat this morning. We always get such great community and such great chatter out there, which is always fun. And there was a comment in the chat that I responded to in the chat. I didn't even make a mention of it on the air. Because that's just not who I am. But it does provide an important point. Like this morning, I don't know how everyone else's trading was going, but a couple flat trades, and then the rest all winners, and it was a good morning. You're not going to see me look or feel any different up, down, left, or right. That's just how I am. You make the trades, it is what it is, you move on to the next opportunity, you're looking for what's next. That's just not, you can tell based on like my emotional state, like how I'm doing on the day, then to me, I'm not trading right. But there was someone that was like, oh man, that guy does everything he touches was wrong. And on a day where I'll show you all of the trades, worst stock is SMCI, small move that didn't break out. Small win, turned into a loss flat on the stock. That's the worst stock today for me. IBIT, completely flat, broke, got to VWAP, prior bar didn't hold. Basically a flat trade, paid some fees on that one. Basically just paid fees, up slightly gross. And then it was Uber, where we caught the one and only available short off the open, got bottom tick, and that was a perfect time to get out. Trailed the last third out that I was looking for lower, so again, that worked. And then there was SLV, which was the only real continuation trade. It was long off VWAP, trailed out, got right back in when it held VWAP, held it to the high of the day. Still hasn't really pressed that high, and now not really looking like a long anymore. So everything was pretty much almost perfect. I can't say there was anywhere that I was unhappy with the trade or that I missed. But the important thing, it's not, and this is not dunking on it. I hate that whole, I'm going to dunk on somebody because that's utter nonsense. And it's like, if you don't have the confidence to hear someone say something negative or get their opinion out there, then like whatever. That just shows that you don't have any confidence. You're too sensitive. So the point I want to make with regards to those lines is, if you are simply feeding off somebody's emotion or trying to follow without paying too much attention to the ins and outs of the trades, there can be the perception of what is happening and then the reality of what is happening. And it's only ever dangerous if you have that in your own trading in the wrong way, right? It is so easy to follow along and maybe you're not paying attention to like where the triangles are on the chart and all that stuff. And it just seems like because I'm simply saying, oh, trailed out of this one, like an Uber. Right? Like you would have heard me say, yeah, you know what, didn't press through to go all the way down to 75 and get $2.50. It was only $1 winner. And then I had to trail out here for still a winning trade. In my mannerism, I'll see something that, while a good stock for me, was a good setup that basically returned, 50 to 60% of what I thought it could have, right? I might sound negative when I'm describing that because that's just the nature of who I am. I'm like Joe. Like I could care less about, winning is great and all that, but if I feel like something looked really, really good, did I execute well on it and did it meet my expectations? And then I graded on that at the end of the day. So yeah, I can be critical on winning trades, and I tend to be almost all the time. So it's important to parse out what is important in information, especially if you're going to be listening to a trader. And it could be me, it could be anybody, it could be somebody in the chat who's giving their opinion on something or just letting you know what they think or their levels or whatnot. You've got to really dive in and always have the meat and bones and take something out of it positively. Because I do think in the trading community, it's really important to be listening to people that you might not agree with, that you have a different take on a certain stock. Maybe they use indicators that you don't. Maybe they trade a time frame that you don't. Maybe they trade sectors that you don't. Maybe they trade a style that you don't. That's where a lot of the learning comes from. But if you approach it with an I don't agree with that person or this and that, then you might miss some kernels of opportunity out there. I've told this story many, many times, and this is what I will come back to, that when I started out, there was a trader on the floor who sat next to me as a trainee who was a polar opposite of myself. Absolute polar opposite. He's not on the floor anymore. He's still in the business, but very long, successful career. And we were very, very different. I would basically shut down never. He would shut down once every couple of weeks. He would trade 3 times the amount of actual physical trades that I would make. Our risks were the same, but he would just make more trades. He would get shut down more. His big days would be bigger. His down days would be much bigger. And in our first 5 years of trading, we had near identical P&Ls because we were trading the same styles of stocks and we were learning from each other at all times. And I would not have been the trader that I was, and I don't think he would either. I can only speak for myself. I'd like to think that he would say the same thing, and I'm pretty sure he would. But we learned so much from each other, and we didn't change the style of trader that we were at all, but we're able to maybe get different perspectives that allowed us to grow. And that's the best thing about the community. So what I don't love, and again, you guys do whatever you want. What I don't love is when anywhere in the chat, if someone disagrees with something, there's an easy way to listen to what someone is saying and maybe glean something out of it, and just have a different perspective and disagree in a positive manner. Because in the end of the day, trading, 90% of traders fail, right? 90% of traders fail. If I wanted to be a punk, I was going to say something. If I wanted to be a D-bag, if I wanted to be a punk, then I would just sit there and respond to that saying, I don't care what you think of me. I've been made money trading for 20 straight years. Deal with it. What would be the point of me saying that? That would be useless. No one would gain anything. Actually, I think that's a you-know-what move. It's a D move to do stuff like it's not beneficial to anybody unless you're trying to sell some kind of a program or whatever. I don't know, maybe people do it that way. But what is productive is just simply saying, well, this is the reason why I was critical of that trade, or this is just my thoughts on this setup, and let me know what you think. And oftentimes I'll be in the chat And someone will say something, and I'll engage with the person who's disagreeing with me, and we'll just go back and forth, and we'll have a little bit of a conversation, and we'll both get something out of it. I actually look for that because you learn more from it. You don't learn a lot from people that are just like yes men. And in trading, if you just have a bunch of people that see things the same way as you and agree with you all the time, then you're probably not going to be able to expand in the same way that you could if you also looked for other opinions, other ideas. It doesn't mean you have to change your trading strategy. It just means that you're all willing to learn together. There's so much happening, and there's so many ways to trade and so many ways to be profitable trading that having an open mind and always being willing to learn is a big part of it. Trading requires humility. 90% of traders fail. If you have no humility, you are not making money in this business. I promise you that. I've seen a lot of traders over the years, and almost every single one of them, with very few exceptions, are incredibly open-minded and humble, and always looking to engage with other traders, positive or negative. Anyways, I played myself on the lunch. And I actually didn't, I forgot. So we get lasagna today, and I'm on the no cheese menu. It's not that I don't eat cheese, like I'm not lactose intolerant or anything. It's just that like they used to give us a salad, and then it was coming with a big hunk of cheese. I don't know if you remember this. There would just be like this hunk of cheese, and I'm like, well, I don't want that. So I put myself on the no cheese, and I haven't taken myself off of it, but I didn't get the lasagna today because I'm on the no cheese menu. So I have to go get some. They gave us, I got like potatoes and it looks salmon, which looks delicious. I haven't tried it yet. I'm sure it's great, but I'm gonna have to try the lasagna when I get the leftovers. It looks pretty good. No, I'm not gonna. Joe just said I'll trade you my lasagna for the salmon. No, I love salmon, so I'm gonna eat that. There's gonna be plenty of leftover lasagna, Joe. So I'll just have a piece of the leftover lasagna and get my. Well, I don't know if I'll pull myself from the non-cheese menu because like who. And when I say it was just a chunk of cheese, I literally mean there was like a block of cheese, like on Splinter or something, just sitting on a plate. That's what they used to do back in the day. So that's why I took myself off it. Good luck in your trading rest of the day, everybody. This market is relentless. The fact that we are about to see fresh highs, that 2%, unbelievable. Like it's so good to be in a bull market. It's so much more fun. Day traders make more money. Like 08 was fantastic. COVID was great. Like let's be real, you make more money on down markets. Almost everybody says that in day trading. I believe it's true, but it's a heck of a lot more fun when you can make money and your account, your long-term account is also going up. So enjoy. I'm gonna have some salmon and we'll see you back at 2.
Thank you very much for that, Neil. Excellent lesson of the day. There's no question about it. And honestly, if you're talking smack about like how Neil trades, then I don't think you really have the right idea about trading because he's very, very smart.
You know what?
Very excellent risk manager as well.
If you want to get real,
yeah,
it's like anybody who just like shoots someone else down or like discourages or discredits their trading, it's like, you have your own issues, man. Like, you leave someone else alone. Like, what are you doing watching what someone else is doing? Now, offering someone's advice is a different story. I mean, you don't give it unless you're asked for it. But at the end of the day, if you're just sitting over here judging people and being like, oh, this guy sucks, all this, it's like, really, not at the end of the day, you kind of suck, bro. Like, leave everyone else alone, allow them to do their own thing, and stop watching man's pocket, to be honest.
And you want to know the truth? I dislike highly critical people because they tend
like, who are you?
To tear down rather than to build up.
Yeah. Like,
and as soon as I detect that you're a highly critical person, like if you're the type of person to go and like investigate someone's history and start pointing out faults about them and stuff like that, I'll just cut you off. And once I cut you off, I don't turn back.
It's like, why are you watching people like that? Like, worry about yourself and do your own thing, man. It's just weird, like.
Highly critical people.
Like, listen, it's just like, well, I don't know why you don't do this. I don't know why you don't do that. I'm like, I don't know why you don't mind your own business and allow people to do their own thing. There's a difference between helping and being critical of someone, which I think it's just annoying, man, and it's off-putting. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with helping individuals. That's a different story. But then when you're like, I don't know why you don't do this, and like start critiquing people, it's just like.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. You got to be able to deal with this type of people, Again, if I always say this to you all the time, like if you build up people around you, you will reap what you sow, okay? Yeah. Because the juju around you, the vibes around you, people who do well will reflect on you. If you want to break people down and, point at their faults rather than what they're good at.
I never really understood that.
I've never understood it either. Anyway, Let's keep an eye out on this. I don't think that's constructive criticism, by the way. I wouldn't categorize that. I think constructive criticism is absolutely essential, but it has to be the tone with which you convey that criticism as well is super important as well.
I'm all about tough love, but you got to show the love as well too. Like as a friend, I would rather you just be straight up honest with me, but then like kind of beat around the bush, like, oh, it's okay and all this and all that. No, I'd rather
just before we go to Dare, I have to mention here, there's a huge seller at 180 on SMX, and we've been suffering from this the entire time. If this seller gets taken out, I'm definitely going to add aggressively here because there's a huge seller. We're going to Dare with breaking news.
Keep an eye here on Zoom and DXYZ. Now, these seem like two really random stocks to watch here, but we do have an event here where Anthropic has announced a partnership with SpaceX. Now, of course, DXYZ on watch here with SpaceX because we know that's in this ETF or the stock here, Destiny Tech 100. But Zoom, as we know, has a massive investment in Anthropic, so I thought they might have moved on this. In fact, they did. Again, Zoom and DXYZ on watch after Anthropic announces a SpaceX partnership. Back to you.
Yeah. All right. PMAX. I still am dealing with this trade. I am not liking this one any more than I did before. It did come up to 3. We took a little bit of profits there at 3 with a 295 cost basis. I'm not liking the way it looks. And someone very wise once told me, if the trade is a good one, it will not be hard to detect. This is not a good trade. This is one where I'm having basically to labor in order to stay in the money. So I think I'm going to cut this one off quite soon. I really want to focus my energy on SMX. This one feels like it is the best in the market right now in the world of small cap gappers anyway. I'm liking the higher lows on this one. I'm not pleased with the seller at 180 who's quite convicted in their cause because we've been rejecting that level. But the higher lows to me, at least for the moment, are operative. And you know, if we continue to put in these higher lows, they're going to run out of shares. So we'll have to keep a close eye on this one. Joey, by the way, OSS is unblocked on our system. It's in a 5 red candle pullback at the moment, so it's not the right time for me to get involved with this one, but I'm going to keep a close eye on it. If it wants to set up, perhaps 15.25 at the 20, perhaps $15. If it really loses that, then I'm looking at 14.50 where the volume weighted average price is, Joe.
Yeah, good stuff there, brother. Good stuff. All right, Adam James, I've seen you type it in the chat enough. I have to look at this stock now. I don't know if Sharif traded it here today, but he's in PMAX and SMAX, so a lot of Pro Maxing going on over there. You got to show us a pic of your dog, my guy. Anytime, Blicky. I love the name Blicky Spears. Yeah, we'll do that, man. I'll actually send it next time it goes over to Sharif. I have no issues with showing the little boy off here because that's my guy. He listens really good. He's a good one. Wimmy. W-I-M-I. Let's take a look at Hologram Holdings. Okay, that's a pretty good move. But you know what I'm going to say first things first with that? Look at the 1-minute time frame and the liquidity issues. All right? Like, I mean, I understand that it's a small cap name, but there's big time liquidity issues here. You can see all the spot trading essentially in algo. There's no volume really stepping in. Let's pull it up over here and see what we have going on. I got to edit this. So essentially what I have going on is a small cap, but I always have to just reset it and then implement that. And then maybe if the volume is there, it'll display itself. I haven't heard Sharif talk about it, and I know he's keen on the volume aspect.
Adam James just put it in the chat. Yeah, I just pulled it up. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying earlier in the day. I haven't. 1.3.
Neither have I.
Yeah, 1.3 million shares traded.
Yes, sir.
Right? Like, I mean, that's nothing crazy, but it's looking pretty good. So, good find. I'm not going to discredit you on
Adam.
that, right? Yeah, always. He's always
he needs a win here, Joey.
Does he?
He needs a win.
No, he's already done too much winning.
Well, he in life, but you know, lately with soccer, he hasn't been.
Can't have
lucky.
It all, man.
He's a City fan.
Yeah, I know.
That's the biggest drawback that he's got right
there.
Yeah. He's got a lot of positives. Not gonna lie, but
like you can't have it all, Adam. I'm sorry. You're in like San Salvador all the time.
I know it's so annoying.
You're on the beach.
Does he even have a home?
He doesn't need one. He's a digital nomad. He does though.
I wish. Bro.
He's actually he's in the area where my family is, and I've been to that you get to his spot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in BC. Yeah, in West Van there.
West Van.
Yeah, yeah, he's a digital nomad at the fullest. His next trip, I'm going to suggest, he's been in South America. He's done all of that. It's like, bro, go to Asia for me at least and document that so I can watch more videos on Da Nang, Vietnam. All right? So I'll live vicariously through you. Now, moving forward, what do we got? The market continuing to climb higher here, and we have AMD with a potential breakdown. Key support level with a shelf being formed south of VWAP. Now, if this breaks, what we do have is consistent lower highs. All right, so we'll just draw our basic trend line, bang. If it breaks, then you get out, you wait for a re-engagement, but we talked about this name from a daily. Now, from a daily standpoint, it looks like you might start to fill up some of this gap up. Is this extended move? Absolutely. We've been on this monster run, over 100%. Oh, it's a fight, man. It's a big time fight. Like, it's just like, okay, $197 on that April low, late March, and then you just climb all the way up to $425 like it's nothing. And we're talking about the chip trade being dead. It's like, no, AMD. Oh, there it goes, Sharif. As it breaks through the support level, that's a good trade right there. But we're sitting in this Bitcoin looking for a long there. Maybe a retest of this. If we reject it, maybe we can find somewhat of a scalp. But it's definitely been our better trader here today using AMDL here. Nice little scalp city. I did take profit off relatively quick, and then I didn't remove anything. Looking for the continuation up into 50-50 on AMDL. Up 31% today. What a joke. But there it is, boom. A break through the volume weighted average price. That's our green light to get out, but nonetheless, our better trade here. We had a little scalp on IBIT, looking for more, and that's all we got. If it doesn't work, then we'll cut it and we'll sit on our hands for the remainder of the day, just because we'll lock that in and just try to keep the good times rolling.
I like that. All right, SMX feels top heavy. It looks perhaps like that seller at 180, 181, which is the high of the day, is going to win out for now, because I feel like we're putting in a bit of a rounded top. You can see that more clearly on the 1 minute than the 5. Look at this rounding effect over here. None too pleased about that. We need to change trend. We need to start putting in higher highs. We're not getting that right now on SMX. And I got out of PMAX, just took out that break even, got the hell out of that. Ended up losing 80 cents on PMAX, which is fine. We're going to keep a close eye on this one. If it wants to break 3 and show me that the buyers are stepping in, they're going to bring this back above the whole dollar, we'll get involved. But for now, I'm going to hold clear. There's my man. He's dropping 5 in the chat. Between AM... Oh, my days. Let's bring this in. We got to put him front and center. Between AMD and Arsenal... It's a yucky week, but I'm drinking Salvadorian coffee, looking at the mountains, listening to Smash Bros. Home with Wifey. Shout out to my man there.
Probably looking at Cyprus.
Yeah? Hold on, I don't understand.
He's looking at Cypress Mountain.
Cypress Mountain. I was so confused.
Oh, you thought
Cyprus is a different continent.
You thought Cyprus.
I was like, I thought he was in South America.
Off the coast of Greece.
And
Cyprus.
off the coast of Egypt.
There's Cyprus.
Shout out to my man Adam. Yeah, you're living the good life, brother. You're definitely living the good life. Grunfeld, I didn't like SEG, brother. You pointed it out. I took a quick look at it, and I don't know. What's going on with the liquidity there? Let's pull up SEG here for a sec for the OG Grunfeld. Let me just move everything out of the way. No, that's not it. SE-double-G. There we go. Okay. Didn't look like that on the other chart. Yeah, Grunfeld, this is not bad, brother. I'm expecting there's going to be resistance at around this level right here. Look how long we've been ranging. Let's flip to the 15. Let's see how long this range goes back. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of resistance here. You want to say in and around the third of a dollar. If we can get above that, we're definitely looking at that $0.50, then even the 2/3. Like, look at the wicks. Especially back on the 29th of April, we definitely got back in there. SEG's good. This is not a bad looker. Shout out to Grunfeld. It didn't look like that when I pulled it up on the other chart, but we're going to take off GCTK, and we're going to put on SE-double-G for that. Thank you so much for that. I don't know why when I was looking at it on the top chart, it looks super light on vol anyway. So we'll let that one be. And if it sets up, we'll get involved. Now, what I want to talk about is OSS is no longer blocked on our system. Thank you to Neil for that. Do appreciate it. Neil is always coming through. And what I'm seeing is there's a bit of support here at the 20. Now, you're not going to catch me trying to get long on a 6-candle red pullback until I see a bit more. What I need to see is some higher highs and higher lows. And most notably, I don't want this crap here. What do I mean by crap? Like, look how long this one defended the 10 EMA. Now it's using it for a period of 20 minutes or so as resistance. I need to be above the 10 EMA. I need to have higher highs and higher lows on OSS for me to get involved. Knowing full well, perhaps the best part of this trade is behind it. We'll wait and see. But if it sets up in the right way, I'm game. I'm going to get involved with OSS now that it is no longer blocked. Again, it's got to set up the right way. And look at the hot garbage that is PMAX over here. It's still rejecting 3. I say hot garbage, but then watch. This gets back above, especially if it takes out 315. It'll have my attention, funny enough. So, yeah, you gotta, you know, as you would say, right? You gotta kind of like have a bit of a wishy-washy view of these bad boys here, because sometimes they're on your good list, sometimes they're not, right? And right now, PMAX, not on my good list.
Get that garbage out of here.
Get that garbage out of here. Yeah, continue to watch SMX, guys. We are in a bit of a 2-candle lower high trend. However, I still feel, you know, the fact that we're above the 10 EMA, above VWAP, this one could be setting up. I really want to see if we can take out that 80 seller. If we can take out that 80 seller, I don't typically punch in at highs like that, but we're probably going to squeeze, just given the amount of selling at that level, at the 4/5 of a dollar. If we take them out, I'm biased, I'm moving to 2. And, you know, that 15, 20 penny move, that could be quite lucrative, especially because this has done about 16 million shares on the day. It's got a 1 penny spread. And I'm not telling you how to trade, but you could punch in probably 5,000 shares and get the fill like that without what's it called? A partial fill, just based on the liquidity. And, you know, 5,000 shares, you move 15 pennies, do the math, right? Who does that, RC?
What's that?
Right? And that's just the way small cap trading is, right? You're taking small moves, small price moves with big shares and reaping the reward. That hot garbage PMAX is taking out $3, Joey. I don't know what to do with this thing, man.
Get it out of there.
I don't got to read on this one.
You get it out of.
I don't got to read.
Kick it to the curb, man.
Yeah, well, it's breaking out again, man.
We don't show no loyalty to these dogs out here, man.
Snap PMAX. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, straight Blicky Spears, BTA, man.
What happened, Joey? Blicky Spears.
Yeah, Blicky Spears. I like that. BTA, man, all day.
Oh yeah, well that was a fun childhood.
BTA? Bro, it was everything.
Bro, you grow up in an Arab household, you know what's up.
I got everything, man.
Speak out of turn.
Were nice,
here comes SMX again into that 180 area. Here we go again. Look at the selling. There's 25. There's 81. There's the breakout. The breakout's on. Take over, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. But why you keep going back to El Salvador, man? What is it about that spot that you like? Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not questioning, but he likes to be there. Man, why do you like going back? 4 to 6 months, that'd be ideal. You're digital anyway, so you're good. We're waiting. We're going to get out of this hot garbage here, IBIT. We're not positioned well. I gave you the whole spiel on the fact that you want to get at the lower end of the range. We did have a couple of upticks, but then it sold some indecision prints not working in our favor, and then now it looks like we're going to break this 46.20 level. I'll get out. It might start to recover a little bit, and therefore we just position ourselves a little bit more. Or I might not even trade anymore. I mean, we had this nice little scalp right here. Missed that run up into the volume-weighted average price, and then we had AMD. So 2 for 3 at this point. We still haven't even locked in this loss. We'll continue to monitor and see what we got going on as support levels are starting to break. And it's been a slow grind up and steady to the right here in NVDA and some of the chip names, even though AMD is south of VWAP. I do like our chances of maybe continuing on this move with NVDL. My vehicle going to be on NVDA, my vehicle is going to be NVDL. Let's pull up a couple of things. I know people are asking me about Circle. Someone did ask me about a name on the options chain. Put it in there once again. I'll gladly go over it. I'm just not going to scroll through the whole chat and find exactly what you said. Again, you didn't even take my name. I seen it on the side, but just put it in there, re-tag me, and I'll be more than happy to talk about a little bit more options activity with you. With that being said, let's pull up the bad boy that we're going to be looking to purchase here momentarily. And to see how much of a pretty penny this is going to cost us. All right, so what are we going to do? Adara, when does NVDA report? What day is it?
I don't know the date. It would be mid to late May. I would go late May, probably last week. I'll check now.
Sounds good. We'll head over to the July expiration cycle, July 17th. So it gives us 72 days. And look how much we're going to be paying. We're going to go OTM on this one. Full disclosure, right? So we're going to grab a couple of OTM contracts. We're sitting around 205 right now. Nothing wrong with grabbing the 225s and gaining a little bit of extrinsic value, time value. I don't necessarily need this thing to trade in the money. I'm just looking to gain time value on these contracts, and that's already what I've established from a game plan. And if I'm fortunate enough to be sitting in the right side of the trade, then by all means, I'll happily take the intrinsic value, also i.e. the moneyness of where we're currently sitting at on this.
NVIDIA, Wednesday, May 20th.
May 20, perfect. So this is more than plenty of time. We have a couple of weeks until they report, and we're going to be looking forward to it. But 41.5%, so I'm going to be getting in a little bit early with the anticipation that we're going to have a drastic volatility spike. What we are going to need is this name to exceed its expected move, and then be prepared to take some off. If it does, and that implied volatility starts to uptick, now if it moves in our favor, we have our game plan, we take that time value, and we run away with it. All right, so this is gonna be the contract that I'm gonna be purchasing, the 225, it's gonna cost us $835, that is expiring on July 17th. Now, again, I can get into a little bit more detail on why specifically and what the game plan is essentially on this trade. All right, so let's do that right now. I'm all out of that IBIT. That's going to be my final trade of the day as it's starting to break down. Maybe there's some form of a continuation on NVDA, but we'll lock in the little bit of green that we have, and then we'll come back tomorrow and set up once again. Now, what is my game plan? What am I going to do here? Let's get into the spiel before we send it back to Sharif. There's two things that you can gain when you're trading options contracts, and when people get into the world of derivatives, it takes a while, and it took me a little bit of time to just figure this out. There's essentially two objectives, all right? And then you can combine them both. There's one when you're buying a contract, when you're buying something that's extremely out of the money, say $20, $25, even plus, even a couple of dollars out of the money. Understand what you're trying to do. It's not necessarily that you're trying to get the stock to trade up into that level and then north of it, but what you can essentially get is time value out of these derivatives. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Is that the price of a contract is derived from two things. The moneyness, whether it's in the money, out the money, or at the money, and then how much time that specific contract has. Now, I'm looking to gain only time. And if I happen to fall into that bonus realm, which is i.e. climbing over $225, then by all means, I get to capture the time value and the in the money value, the intrinsic value of that contract. Now, if you're continuously looking for things and it's like, hey, I bought this out of the money contract, it ripped, and then eventually it came back in and I lost all the money on the contract, it expired worthless. Well, you had time value, you had in the implied volatility value, but you were just expecting too much when you weren't going to get that. So that's my game plan on that. I want to gain time value, and if I happen to fall into the bonus area of gaining intrinsic value, of it climbing north of $225, then I'll take it. But time value is the objective on this specific trade for me.
Nice, Joey. PMAX is a bit of a different beast here. I don't typically see this, where every single penny has very aggressive selling. It made me think that this was easy to borrow. So I looked at my system, and there are shortable shares. That's the thing. And with these small cap gappers, I almost never see, especially the ones that are moving quite aggressively on the day, I almost never see availability for shorts on our platform. It's only 7,700, but that's just IB, right? It could, many different other platforms could have shorts as well. And so this is quite interesting here because you're getting selling, aggressive selling at almost every level. And it's quite frustrating. Here we go, back into area highs. 87 high, got 86s there. I got in again, double shares that we took last time. It's just, there's no continuity. It's such a thick trade at these levels. It's just not worth my time. All right, let's go to OSS because OSS is changing trend. I'm out of, I took the 2 pennies and I got out of there. Now, what I'm liking about OSS here is that this one now is above the 10 EMA. It's found a bottom at a predictable area, the 20. It was a doji candle with a bit of a topping tail, ironically enough. Now, what I'm concerned about is this $0.75 area on OSS. Why do I say that? Even though we've been substantially above it, we've got to 16.25, 15.75, pardon me, because of this very prolonged area of initial resistance right around, I want to say, 3/4 to 4/5. And you're kind of seeing a little bit of resistance already at that 60 penny area. So a 5 candle red setup. Now you got a couple of green candles. This one just went red. So be on the lookout for that. That's what I'm thinking about there. But SMX is the best of the bunch. It's just very slow, very thick in terms of selling at almost every penny level. It just becomes a bit of a tougher trade, especially if you're if you're used to, these ones moving in a pretty parabolic fashion. So that's one I'll keep my eye on if it sets up. I don't anticipate my changing my opinion on it because if the shorts are easy to locate, they're easy to locate. And that just makes it a tougher trade because then basically anybody without having to go through locates, pay for locates, they can just get short. It's getting into the high of the day, but you can see it's just moving 1 penny at a time. But hey, good look here on SMX for those who took it. 189, looks like it's on the way to 2. ERNA, I want to say that it's making another attempt here. A decided move above 6, especially since this is the second attempt, could be quite interesting. So ERNA should be in focus for you here. I'm going to keep a close eye on OSS and then PMAX. Also, very thickly traded. Look how long it's taking this one to get up into that 305 area. We're just at 3. What's PMAX volume-wise done on the day? Find it. Did I not put that on here? Maybe not. Put it on. PMAX. Thought I put it on. 28.3 million shares. Just such a thick trade. All of them. SMX, PMAX. They've been slow movers when typically they don't move that slow. MIGZ 36, $5. Thank you very much, brother. Ionic. I heard Neil talk about the quantum names today being strong. Any thoughts on IonQ going to earnings? I have 5.15, $50 calls up 20% right now. Should I sell before end of day? I'm going to look at the TA for you, but when it comes to actual option strategy, that's obviously for your boy, Joey Options. Let's look at IonQ and kind of what to expect. You have $50 calls, so you're up in the money already because we're trading at 51.37. VWAP, ironically enough, right at $50. You got to like that for an area of support. Let's do some YT. Let's start with the daily, and then we'll go to the 4-hour. So immediately, I like the look of the flag here, bull flag. This could be a bull flag breakout, breaking above, 49.50. So that's number one. Number two, feels like we've definitely broken a more prolonged downtrend coming from much higher, about $85. We all remember that when these quantum names were ripping. Number three, you're above the 200 simple moving average. You're above the 200 exponential moving average, and there's a good amount between them here. 41 2/3 is the exponential, about 47 is the simple. You're above both of them. Now, what you're also getting are the moving averages, the exponential ones at least, the 200 and the 50, they're starting to point up. You still haven't gotten that golden cross where the 50 crosses the 200, but they're pointing up. And the 50 is going to move faster than the 200, believe you and me. Now, in terms of resistance, price action, support, and resistance, you've got to be alive to this $55 top. Once, twice, Obi, he is the one, thrice. Into 55, multiple rejections. Now, albeit it was a bit of a consolidative area with about 45 to the south side and about 55 to the north side. You get above that 55, it can open up. It can open up easily into 65, and then you're probably looking at about 75, which was a top back from September of last year. So I like the trend change on IonQ. I like the move above 50. I like the move above the simple 200. I like the move above the exponential 200. I am concerned, though, about that flat top in and around 55. My assumption is that if the earnings come in good, better than expected, that 55 will just be basically just any level on the chart there, and it will have been decimated. So what's your take with respect to the options play? He's got $50 calls May 15th. IonQ.
IonQ?
Yeah.
$50 calls May 15th. All right, man, let's pull it up here. We're going to talk a little bit about these $50 calls that expire on May 15th. That's 9 days. What are we trading at? 51.33. Hopefully you guys were just listening to my whole spiel on understanding what the objective of this specific trade is. When you purchase them is going to be extremely important. I don't know how many you have either, but let's head over to a higher time frame and see how you've been performing. I mean, aside from, I don't know if you bought them in April, which would be last month. IonQ going into earnings have 5. Okay, there we go. There's a lot more. 5, 15, 50 calls up 20% right now. Should I sell before end of day? Okay, that's a fantastic question. I mean, if you have multiple, there's nothing wrong with locking in 20%. It's a pretty good return, in my opinion. So you've been in these for a little bit of time. I guess at some point throughout the week, you purchased them. You locked in 20%. I don't know how many of you have, but there's nothing wrong with locking in 40, 50, even maybe 60% and leaving 40% as a runner, just so you have a little bit of exposure. And if it does continue to climb, you're not all frustrated, but it can go both ways, right? Like it's like, okay, yeah, we locked in some profits. I'm going to leave this as a runner. It continues to climb. Oh, okay, we gain a little bit more value within that. I'm happy. Or it comes back, and then you can be like, hey, I'm happy that I locked in some profits too. So write down a game plan, divide up how many contracts you have, and then execute based off of that and what you're going to be satisfied with, right? If you want to lock in more, then by all means continue. Or if you're more comfortable and you're feeling like a gambling man or something like along those lines and want to leave more for a runner, then do that as well, all right? So just come up with that game plan. Now, electric passions, let's do this. I don't know if you were listening or anything that I had to say, but nonetheless, I have no issues with explaining this all over again, okay? So we're going to use IonQ as our example. So there's 2 days left on this contract. Now, what we have, obviously, is Bitcoin going right back towards my entry price, aside from that. Now, we're going to be looking at this $60 strike price. We're trading at $51.59. Who in their right mind would be like, hey, yeah, I want to buy IonQ here at $60 when it's trading at $51? That's $9 premium. We don't want to do any of that. So why is this thing still worth $84? Why? Because it has $84 worth of time value, right? There's two things. That's 2 days, $41 a day, or $42 a day, we'll call it roughly. And that's essentially what I mean by time value, because when you look at these out of the money contracts, they have no intrinsic value, but what they have is time value, and that is when you get deeper out of the money, okay? Now we can look at our in the money contracts, and these have multiple things. They have time value and they have intrinsic value. Let's be precise. So we're looking at this $43 mark. It has $7 worth of intrinsic value, right? Because it's $7 in the money, $8 more or less. Okay, so $800 flat, $820, and that other $100+ is essentially time value. So there's a difference in between the two. Volatility spike in the market here, guys. Something going on. We're going to find out momentarily because it's across the board. NVDA started to sell a little bit, and you can see an increase in the volume as everything is really starting to fluctuate. I don't know if it's just my platform. I'm not seeing it at AMD or anything along those lines.
I didn't see it on the Qs or the SPY, Joey.
It's doing it. Yeah, it's doing. It's not doing it on the Q. Look at it. Look at my charts. Look what they're doing.
What is that? That's NVIDIA?
There's AMD, NVDA was doing an IBIT.
Yeah, you see what spreads are going crazy.
They're going nuts. They're going nuts. So there it is. Yeah, we're gonna head over to Adair and see what.
Oh God, Anthropic.
Yeah, it's just more Anthropic-related announcements here at this Claude Code event. They're launching Claude security for their Claude Code platform. Palo Alto Networks and CrowdStrike are on watch, and neither are really moving on their catalyst. If I see something market-wide, I'll let you know. Back to you.
Did you see the interview yesterday with Jensen and what's the ServiceNow guy called?
Yeah. I forget his name, but
he's always wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, but because he has. He has like a deformity.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I had no idea.
Yeah.
He's an interesting character, though.
He is. I like how I was listening to it. I'm listening to
you
Jensen.
watched it, eh?
Yeah. But then I pull up ServiceNow stock, and I'm like, you're kind of Jensen. Like you're.
That's what John Ford. John Ford was saying that. He was trying to tread around it a little bit.
Jensen, you're essentially this whole AI trade is why ServiceNow is kind of dumping, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. He had some interesting points. I don't want to crap on him, but now is like, I don't know, the poster child, I should say, for this disruption that we've been getting from like the Anthropics. Dude, I was just looking at the Qs. Did you have a look at the daily on the Qs?
Brother, I've been talking about it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I knew that it was that, but like I didn't
24%, just like that, my boy.
Just like that. Let's look up now here quickly. Oops. Been heavily disrupted, obviously. Yeah, this is a tough looking chart, man. I mean, the 50's money on this,
but I mean, that's tough. I was telling you, Ryan
exponential?
Cohen is my new favorite CEO. Just half cash, half stock, baby.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was hilarious. I didn't go back and rewatch it.
I watched it like 3 times, to be honest with you.
He went on Fox and he got a completely different reception.
Yeah, I told you he's salty because they're obviously giving him a hard time
Fox
before saying
Business?
the company's garbage.
Yeah, well, Yeah, well, we'll have to see what he can do there. If he can actually turn eBay around, I'm not saying he can, but hey, he's had some success, right? He did well with Chewy, right? You can give the pandemic a little bit of credit for Chewy there.
Yeah.
But he definitely knows how to shore up costs. That's for sure.
Well, I mean,
that's
he's
like the
done it
80s style playbook, though, where you come in, you take a legacy company that's heavy on cost, you like rip it to shreds, you basically bare bone it, get all the costs down, then you move it, you basically turn it profitable because you've reduced costs so much, but usually that comes with a lot of layoffs and a lot of job loss. And then you sell it.
But that's what he essentially said he was.
Ugly.
But that's what he said he was going to do, pretty much.
It's like an '80s playbook, dude.
Yeah, well,
They used to do that,
he's like, he said something along the lines of they're just spending so much money on like digital ad and like certain things. It's
2.4 billion. Let's cut it down to 1.2.
Yeah,
I mean, I get it.
So
right?
there you go. That's his MO on that, is just shore up costs.
Well, that's exactly it, right? I mean, look, if you're going to shore up costs, that's one thing, and you can respect that. It's just the job loss that typically comes with that. Not just job losses, but people lose their packages, they use their benefits. There's lots of stuff that comes with that typically.
Everything.
All right, continuing to watch here, guys. I'm seeing S-Max just dropped in to about $0.75. That is a breakout level. We had a lot of trouble with 75. You'll recall it is also right now the 10 EMA on the 5. It's a 195 high on the max. SMX, I'm talking about. Two red candles in a row now. A doji candle precipitating this whole move down. And now we have a bit of a, I don't know what to call this candle, but in any of the, we're looking for here a 175 hold generally on SMX. If I see that and I start seeing this curling back up, we're going to get involved. But right now, I don't think is the right time, nor is it the right time for OSS. And this one is losing the 20, and it is losing the 10, and it is about to lose the $0.25. It looks like it's heading to 15. If it loses 15, it's going to find its way to 14.50 quite quickly. That is where the volume weighted average price is hanging out, 14.50. Let's not, write this one's obituary quite yet. Let's see what it does with 15.25. If it holds up there and or 15, we're going to keep a close eye on this one. Also, ERNA. I mentioned this one before, and I'm going to mention it again. I'm hesitant to get into this one only because of the chart pattern, but it is a very one at that. Higher low pattern. We're still suffering from this area high that we can't breach. I'm talking about the 1130 bar there, the high of which is 603. We haven't even been above 6. Let's see if we can get up to 603. Then if we can breach that, we're looking at the high of the day, the official high of the day, which is 623, so 6.25 as another area of resistance. I realized that we were well above that in the pre-market at 718, but the official high is 623. Keeping a close eye out on that. The DO as well. I got stopped out of this one earlier. It is kind of changing trend here and looking to head back up. 325. You're not getting much in the way of notional here on SIDU, but a good chart pattern nonetheless. Nothing going on other than that, yeah. So keeping a close eye on ERNA looks like to be the best of the bunch at the moment. Let's see what everybody's talking about there. Eduardo, happy end of day yesterday. I told you, Eduardo. Eddie, do you not like Diego Simeone? Because I think that you were sort of hinting at the fact that, if he lost, it would be good for you. I kind of got the feeling you didn't like Atleti. Let me know, brother. But I like Diego Simeone. I like him as a man. I like him as a coach. I think he's quite animated, and he's definitely a pleasure to watch on the sideline because that guy has no chill whatsoever. He's very, very emotional. Wears his emotions on his sleeve, and he just lets it go, man. He just lets it loose. Adam, chat's called out. SFTS, halt up. Thanks, Adam. James abroad. Let's have a look at that. SFTS.
Okay.
Oh. I think this guy's jokes, bro. There's no such thing. I don't know what that means. I'm trying to think of what it means, but anyway, I think he's pulling my leg there because there's no ticker. That is that. Let's go Poet. People are yelling out about Poet as well. Poet's a former convict. We've been keeping a close eye on that. STFS. Thank you, STFS. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Into the high there. We are halted. 592. Guys, let's not get too excited right now. 143,000 shares traded so far. Let's do some TA. So this is coming for much, much higher 1-40 split back on March of this year. So 140 split, probably a lot different looking of a chart, obviously, but keep your eye out on this one. Let's go to the 15, see where we're coming from. Yeah, we've done almost no volume. Okay, so let's find out what the hell is going on here. I don't have any reason that this is moving on my blotter. I haven't quite seen it yet. It is open, okay? It's open. Let's flip to the 1. Let's take a quick gander of what this one is doing. It's done still 100. No, it's not moving. Still halted? What is happening here? Let's load this up on a trading screen, bro. Forget about this. Take off due. STFS on the NQ. Yeah, it is trading. Okay, so my platform was wrong. It said it was still halted. Let's throw that on here. You don't put this, I don't know if you get this as well, but if I don't put it on my watch list on the side, it doesn't update the price, and I never understand why. Anyway, about a 15, 16 penny spread right now. It's not losing trend, ironically enough, and this one looks like it's halted multiple times to the upside here, Joey. So this could be an interesting one. Looks like there's some support at 60 pennies over here. Keep an eye out on that. Probably likely resistance at 6. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to keep a close eye on this one, Joe.
Good stuff. Yeah, all right. I mean, the market really starting to get choppy here, guys. You can see I don't even know what kind of, if we're going to call this a head and shoulders pattern or anything along those lines here on NVDA. It is holding up, printing those higher lows. So, I mean, it's not horrible. Same thing here with IBIT. I get out at the lows, and then now it's just slowly grinding higher. So once it starts chopping around like that, then I just tend to avoid the name. Same thing here with AMD, right? You're just moving sideways at this point. You had a nice recovery in the overall market, slowly curling over. We'll call it turtle shell here on the NASDAQ and on the SPY. The NAS being slightly stronger at the moment, and volume weighted average price tracking price, the actual price action pretty good. So let's see. I mean, I have no rush in hopping into anything else. There it goes. So out at the lows, and then it bounced right back up, and then continuing to climb here on IBIT. So we'll just continue to watch it and observe and see what we have going on, and see if you get any form of continuation. If the volume and the momentum really starts to pick up through VWAP, then maybe we'll take another step. But I have no need to, or in no rush to at this point. We can go over our 3 trades today. We'll shoot 66% on the session, and that's it. Boom, 1. This is going to be the primary, and then a couple on IBIT. So it's like, okay, here, you have that little scalp. We'll take it. It's unfortunate that we missed this big move right here. We take one more attempt at the higher end of the range. Did it work out for us? Not necessarily how we wanted it to. There it goes, a nice strong uptick on Bitcoin, now printing 34s here on the bid. That is now in the money as we are recovering here, and the market is sliding. AMD moving lower, NASDAQ and the SPY moving lower, and Bitcoin going opposite Adara.
Reports of container ships leaving the Strait of Hormuz. What I want to mention, though, is we're getting some comments, mostly kind of posturing, coming from the Major General of Iran, Reza, saying that the U.S. cannot escape the region with a mere show. This is our battlefield, quote, must confront the U.S. and reap our gains from this war. Also saying the U.S. is seeking a showy action on the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran will not allow. So again, comments here coming from Iran's Major General, as reported by Iranian state media. Be aware. Back to you.
There goes ERNA. It is ripping up. We got 40 pennies. High of day is 65. Looking for continuation, realizing that we are at the half dollar, and the half dollar could be that staunchy area of resistance. Told you I'll keep an eye out on this one. Looking, watching, looking for a failure. There we go. Failure of 40. Get back in. Let's see if it holds up. Topping tail candle now. Took it to rest break even. Looking for the move back above 40. Let's just spot the area resistance over here. So you got support between, I want to say 35 to 30, generally, okay? So watch out here, looking for the curl back up on the 5-second chart. We're in a bit of a downtrend after making that 665 high. That is a high of the day. Looking for a trend reversal and a curl back up, perhaps into the half dollar to resume trend. ERNA really taking out a lot of sellers. So it's that 720 high that we have to contend with now, right? Because or that pre-market high, I think it was like 720, 718, something like that. But we're still in a bit of a downtrend, looking for more continuation here. You're not getting it. I don't want a bottom pick here. So it's not like I'm going to put a resting order at 30. I'd rather trend with this one up. Just ride the trend. So this one has to curl. It's curling a little bit here, Joey. Here we go again. Let's see if we can take out the half dollar on this move up. Good look here for ERNA. Not in, let's see. It's holding up above the level, but it's definitely having trouble in the mid to high 40s, especially that 50 penny level. Let's see if this can get back above. Just keeping an eye on the 5-second chart here as we try to close in on that $0.50 again. Seller at 45 locally. Certainly a seller at 45. So whoever's selling here is kind of moving down their level. Continue to watch. Let's see what we get. Yep, move back down into the 30s. Oh, just lost 30 here momentarily. This is a support level, so nice that it got bought up. So the reason I say nice is, well, other people were looking at that level if you had an aggressive buy. Still zigging and zagging here at that 30 penny level. Below 30 pennies, you're looking at 20. There was a bit of a consolidation area bottom on the 5-second chart at around 620, but you're in a basically unbroken downtrend right now. You're not making any new area highs locally on the 5-second chart. So until we do, the trend is still lower highs and lower lows, Joe. Here we go, trying to move back above 40. Let's see if we can get back above 45, because we know that that's where the seller is. Seller at 45, we can zoom above there. We still have to contend, obviously, with that $0.50. Here's a 45 seller again, stepping in. So an aggressive position somebody's taking here, Joe, in the mid 640s.
Yeah. Anthropology.
PMAX is ripping, you piece of...
PMAX.
Yeah, I should have packed more patience with that, but hey, man, it was kind of non-compliant, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Too late now, but time to switch on 1 minute for a pullback. Yeah, that thing's off to the races. I think in the next couple of days you'll see an all-time high here in AAPL. Let's send it over to Adara.
Beware here, President Trump is speaking live at an event for military mothers. Melania introduced him. Now he's speaking. If there is anything market-related that's said, I'll let you guys know. Given that this is, again, a military Mother's Day event, there could be mentions of the conflict. Back to you.
All right, iGrow Fighting, what do you got going on? You got CDE in 17s, added at 18s. Other than that, Sharif's got a couple of trades going. He's got ERNA on. I'm sitting on my hands right now for the moment. As you can see, the overall market, the SPY and the NASDAQ starting to come back in towards the volume-weighted average price. So consistent lower highs right here, guys, a downtrend line. Let's see if it finds somewhat of a rebound. Maybe you can continue, or you just want to continue with the direction of the current market, and that's going to be down. It did establish in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so you did break through the pre-market high. I never love this, but what I do enjoy and what I do like seeing is that before the open, you start to pull back and trade below VWAP, and then you kind of get that slingshot through. And that's what we had going on here with AMD. Via AMDL. We'll pull this up for you guys. I know I have it on a different chart and we've been going over the same one. So I just want to focus on a couple of the names. But here it is, right? So you have that strong move. In the pre-market, you continue all the way up to a staggering $431. About a half an hour, an hour and a bit before the open, you pull back and then boom, slingshot right through VWAP. And that's where I wanted to find that momentum and just get back to the basics here and play the volume-weighted average breakups. That was my go-to and that was my bread and butter, and I want to get back to that. So AMD is starting to find its way, but I think it's a short here for the rest of the session. Could be totally wrong. Maybe in the latter half, you get buyers start to participate and step right back in. Bitcoin doing the same thing. You got to wait to get in on those lows. I was in off of that high, thinking that we get that breakup, and then sure enough, you get that pullback. It climbed a bit, but then came back against it. It happened to bounce off of the support level, but I wasn't willing to sit in it at the break of that 46.18 marker. All right, nice inverted hammer, as Gaurav was pointing out here on AAPL. I mentioned that I believe it's only a matter of time until this name hits all-time highs. Now, boom, there it is, inverted at the high, double topish. You have that wick up, you grab some liquidity, and then off to the races you go to the downside. Now, as for Google, pretty choppy, man. A downward bull flare channel here in Amazon, but with the initial drive being strong, or sorry, on Microsoft, that is. So you haven't recovered yet. Maybe you'll see this start to break, and then you can find an opportunity for a long, or you want to play the break of some key support levels and find a way now going south. Now, Netflix is unfortunate, but we talked about the support level at that 90 marker. It breaks, it heads over into 88.04.
Yeah, sorry, I was just concentrating.
Yeah, I thought you wanted it.
Ripping, Joe. It is ripping. We're in the money nicely on this one. 670 high, looking for a breach of 70. Here it is again, and there it goes again. Here we go. We took double the shares than we initially took. I'm looking for 82s now. Let's go ahead and post at 82. Looking for a move into 7. We know where the pre-market high is. It is that candle at 833 for whatever reason. It's a 718 high. I'll submit to you, we'll have more resistance at 7 than you know, we're not going to go 718 directly. At least that's not my bias. 648 is my entry there. Looking for a bigger move here. We can't shake that 78 seller. I'm posted at 82. This one's breaking out quite aggressively. ERNA is not easy to borrow, at least on my system. Here we go again, Joe. There's another high, day 78, looking for the move into 82. No continuation, though. Seller at 80, big seller at 80. Can't shake that seller there. So continuing, looking for 7. That's my bias here on ERNA, that we're going to weasel up into 7. If we can take out some of these sellers, it was an aggressive seller, pardon me, at the $0.50. Then basically I was a little concerned with this one because that seller at the $0.50 was a big order because there were a lot of shares churning hands between that 645 to 650 level, and nothing was coming off the gateway. Dropping back down now into $0.0025. Let's see if we can kind of continue up. Let's see if we can see some more 70 prints here. But there's localized selling in the mid-60s on ERNA. So look, packing the patience here. Anything really below my level is going to end the trade. We'll use the flatten key here. There's only a 1 penny spread, so I don't have too much about that, but I don't want to take it out, right? Like, I really do want to hold this into 7, but I need to see the right things for me to hold this. And right now, we're definitely getting a bit of a topping tail feel on this current candle. New 5-minute candle just opened now. Let's see if that brings any new buyers. Mechanical trading systems back up into 69 we go, Joey, but they sell aggressively at the 69er level. Now they're selling at 68. That's your typical, prototypical algorithmic setup where they move their order down 1 penny to kind of keep pushing the price down little by little, right? That's kind of how this works. So let's see if we can get up anything above that 80 penny level. That is the 80 penny high, but we're going to need to see 70s before we see 80s, my man. What do you got, Joey?
Swallowing the rest of that espresso there. Woo.
Is it a me espresso?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
All
been
right.
getting lit on caffeine lately.
Yeah, they did.
I
Yeah,
like
the
that.
jitter juice, man.
The jitter juice.
All right. Let's take a look at this $5.
Ever heard of jitterbug?
Yeah, it sounds
Why is
familiar.
this thing not going, bro?
Right
Now we got to flatten out, man. All right, flattened out, break even.
All right.
Yeah, it's losing the bid. It's losing pretty aggressively. Watch for a breach of prior bar low. If this breaches prior bar low 637, if it loses that, it's a topping tail candle, then a red candle, and then a breach of prior bar low. That could mean we're heading back to 6. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. Look out for that, though.
All right. Haven't hit this today.
SFTS has halted up again, Adam? No way. It's going to halt. It's going to halt again. Let's just get in for you know what and giggles.
Oh, it halted in time.
I tried to get in,
man,
Joey.
Sneaky little
They
puppy.
let me in, man.
Okay, we ready now? Can I?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it now. STK Trader. Just an FY insider accountant has WTI crude hedged at $85. Mid-cap oil company.
Who?
They have lost WTI crude hedge at $85. Mid-cap oil company. They have lost $48 million so far, but are betting it drops under $85. Let's pull this bad boy up. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. I mean, WTI Offshore Inc. Oh, okay. These guys are down. I mean,
The dude's at day's high.
not too bad. Obviously, this is the beginning of the oil trade, I guess. At the beginning of the year, you get 200%. That's not too bad, man. Any form of oil play has been a pretty good one. Thank you for that information. Much appreciated. As Bitcoin's starting to come back in. What did you just say?
The dude is at day's high.
Sadu,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, I mean, it's Chop City, man, right now, if you ask me. Like, look at what Bitcoin's been doing for the past little bit, trading in a 30-cent range. You have AMD not doing too much, and you have the market, just a lot of overlapping candles. That's boring and that's lame. So we got to find something else that it doesn't have so many candles that are overlapping and are side by side, because that can be a recipe for disaster, especially if you're a trend trader. We looked at WTI. Once again, thank you very much for that $5 super chat. Let's pull back off the SPY on the daily and see what we have going on. AMD not doing too much, bouncing off those lows. You can see a support level. Be cautious with this one. If you're going to be range trading, then you want to get in at the lows, out at the highs. Now let's head over to our scanner. Oh, you're back in on that?
Oh, yeah.
All right, talk about it, man.
Joey, it's ripping. There was a buyer at around the $0.50. It zigged, it zagged, you know. That's typically what it does. Seller in 92. I still haven't gotten the print in the high 90s. Anything below 70 ends the trade. We're in at 78. Again, the bias is here 7, but let's be even more, you know, optimistic. And I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's a 718 pre-market high. There is a good chance that we touch or breach that. But, you know, the shorts, you know, they're a staunchy bunch. And they're keeping us, you know, from ascending a little bit higher over here. Here we go, back in the 90s. Let's see if we can shake the 90s seller now. It was an 80s seller prior. Now they're setting up right at 90. Look at that. Nothing above 90, despite the plethora of shares. There it is into 91, Joey. And moving, 94, no print. Got to flatten out here as it does come back down. Oh, I took prints on that. I took 85. Not bad, but it is losing the bid here pretty quickly. So be careful here. Rejection of 7. That doesn't mean we're not going to breach 7. This could be the buyback area over here. Let's see if the mid-70s hold. If they do, especially like that, coming right back into the 80, we could get back in here. It's a mid-70s buyer, guys. 75, 76, in and around that area. They're stepping in, they're backstopping, and most notably, and this doesn't always happen, they're posting their positions on the gateway. Look at that, several hundred lots there at 76. So there's a buyer of note backstopping the mid-70s from sliding down a little bit here. Keep your eye out on this one.
All right, man. Good stuff. I mean,
Adam.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Adam James. Adam James abroad, now currently at home. STFS, monstrous, gaps up to fill if it can go. You were just going over that one, right?
Yeah. I didn't get to trade it, but...
STFS. Yeah. Take a look at it one more time.
Lanta. Oh, my Lanta.
Yeah, Starfish. Bang, bang. Oh, my Lanta is right, man. 632, multiple gaps right here you can see. And then maybe you mark it on open, that one, right? Are we going to move that and then you get an additional gap up? What are we feeling? What is it on? Let's figure that out and maybe we can STFS. Don't tempt me with a good time, man. I'm all jacked up off of caffeine and everything.
Jacked
so
up and good to go.
666. We're printing. That's crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. But tap back down to 632. This isn't correct. I got to re-hit this and maybe it can reconfigure itself. 70, but we have an inverse on the bid in the ass. That's not something that I want to see. 632 is the current tap right now. I think I'll avoid this, but a big, strong gap up. It's still up 56.8% on this one, so not too bad of a look there. I see you getting fidgety. What do you have there?
You don't know what's going to happen. Like, there's a seller at every level. Like, we can't even make it up to 7 in a straight line. I'm looking for a mid-70s hold. It failed, so I got it out there. So we have to get a little bit back there on ERNA. Kind of sucks, but I took my shot for a 7 break. It didn't end up happening, and there it goes. So we got in 685, but again, some of the best outs are the outs that are, or some of the best trades are losses. Because then you would have been a lot more out of the money. Go ahead, Joey.
It's open.
Ooh.
STFS.
Oh, yeah. It's going to halt in like 5 seconds. Over.
It's not climbing, though. I know you have the halt bands on this. I don't know if it's going to halt.
695 limit up.
Boom, now it's going to halt down.
564 limit down.
Yeah. It's going to halt
569 limit down now, Joey.
69, yeah. It's going to halt to the downside here, maybe. What a nasty flush. That was 60 cents, just like that. It's insane. Like yeah, exactly. What is the volume on this bad boy? It has only 581,000 shares traded on it. I mean, oh my God, yeah, that's crazy, and that's scary stuff. It's 60-cent flush just like that in a $6 name. That is no fun. 10% move just like that. STF, and I think rightfully so.
Yo, man, this is my bread and butter right here. If I don't get to trade these, I can't. You know what I mean? Like, it takes forever to get the back end boys to.
The back end.
I know, I don't mean it that way, but yeah, like the boys in the back end of the office. To unblock this, and I have to ask Neil for it too, so it takes forever.
I thought which one did you get him to unblock?
OSS. It's actually looking
okay. So why was it just going absolutely bonkers, and then now it's really cooled down?
OSS?
STFS.
Why?
Yeah.
You're not going to like what I have to say.
Well, say it.
There's more sellers than buyers. Isn't that the most annoying answer ever?
Yeah, that was kind of annoying, but I don't know if it answered. I don't know.
I don't know, Joe.
I don't know.
I can't see behind the scenes, brother. It's hard to know, man.
So, but the volatility is.
$6
It's just like, did it lose interest all of a sudden? Where's Luis? Isn't he supposed to be? He's coming, man. All right, we'll figure it out. He's probably.
Be honest with you, it's holding 6, Joe. This doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, but it was like it was trading in like a 60-cent spread.
Ozan.
What did Ozan say?
He's like, don't block anything from my boy. Yes, Ozan, tell him no, man. This is a prop for him. This is other people's money, right? So we have to respect that a little bit. But Joey, that $6 area is holding up here, man. Guys, this is the current bar low, the current area low. You could give it to 5 2/3. If you give this entry here into 5 2/3, I think that's a sound strategy. If it loses this bar low, I'm talking about the 1-minute chart, the 106 candle. If you can stomach that kind of risk, this could be a profitable one over here. But I want to keep an eye on OSS because this one's curling back up above the 10, above the 20, still south to 16. But guess what? It's put in a bunch of higher lows. Ever since the 1245 candle on the 5, it's been higher low, higher low, higher low. And yes, another higher low. Into 1570, I'm interested in this one now that it's blocked. 1 penny spread too. Who can hate on that? So there's a lot going on here, man, at 110. I didn't want to start the news because I thought we'd have Luis coming in. Oh, he is here. I can see him. He's over there. So we're setting up Luis very quickly over here. We'll have him in short order. And there's a lot to talk about today, let me tell you, man. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. People keep talking about Poet. Why are they talking about Poet, Joey? Yeah, well, it's back above VWAP. That's why they're talking about it. Yeah, not a bad look, guys. Look out for 10 resistance. I would say before that, 980 resistance as well on Poet. ERNA is losing the bid and losing it in a hurry. Where is my ERNA? Right back into 640. Guys, look for a 6 1/4 to 6 hold. If 650 fails, the 10 EMA on the 5 is at 6 1/4, and then you have that double top and the whole dollar level at 6. That is all predicated upon 6 1/2 failing. It's already putting in a bottoming tail candle right now, which is awfully bullish. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. And OSS is ripping up. There it is into 1585. We could see 16 pretty quickly here on OSS. So let's see. We're going to punch, and we're looking for a move into 16, Joey. So OSS in focus.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm still looking at this name, STFS. It flushed all the way down to $5.60, then climbs up to $6.20. Daily target 1.6 at a Tesla calls again, should not have done it, but whatever. Yeah, it is. I mean, my United States of whatever. All right, guys, it's time for our favorite part of the day. We're going to bring in a very special guest. You catch him in the chat. He lives in a beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful country. You guys already know what it is. It is Luis Barbado, guys.
Luis! How's everything today, my friend?
How are you doing?
We're doing all right, man.
Good, you know, better days in the world of small cap gappers, but, you know, usually my bad days will be your good days because we go a little bit of a different way. You go south, I go north. How's the trading day today, brother?
Well, it's been quiet, let's say. We focus in a couple of or 3 stocks only on the small caps, and then we took some, of course, big techs because today was a lot of volatility and volume. So we took a couple of trades on oil, SNDK, and Microm. So, but in the small cap it was good. Everything was fading, or most of them were fading. So tough times for you. But yeah, good.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. A bit of a tough times. All right. So you took some large caps today. Any small cap south that we can talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. First one we talked pre-market was this one, Ahmad. It was a United Emirates Arab stock. Only a couple of million shares float, so we were waiting to fail highs after the open. Look at this, was kind of easy trade, although was difficult to pyramid in the trade, was difficult to get big size on it, but we were waiting this 180, 190 to reject pre-market short into resistance there. And then we had this very clear fail of highs on 180. Then you can short there right in the open, very tight stop, and it was on the way down. The problem, as I said, was very difficult to pyramid, very difficult to go big on this one because it only gives you one shot. You go short there, that's it, call it a day, right? And right now it's holding without volume. And look, this is interesting because in TradingView, you see it's holding below VWAP, right, without any volume. If you go to our program, you see it's a little bit more close to the VWAP because if it has had volume from 4 to 6, the P Pro, the Prosper Pro, our program doesn't count that volume. So that could create a little bit difference in the VWAP. But let's say it's holding below VWAP, so it's okay. If we see over 165, 170, all the shorts will get squeezed, so they will have to close position. We might see the two. I think not very likely that it happens. We probably will see more fading below 150. This was the first easy trade. And then we talked with Brendan pre-market. A couple of setup, what we call VWAP rejections, were very, very, very clear today. First one was SGO, and of course, we were helped by the offering, right? But look at this VWAP rejection. It was a Chinese company.
Oh my God.
It failed. Yeah, it failed highs there. We were waiting for a VWAP to go short. Of course, you go short there, you never expect that you're gonna liquidate the shits to zero, almost zero. Offering, I think I'm not very, I don't know a lot about this, but some people here in the office say their baby self was released. That means some regulation that they are not allowed to do more offering than X million shares. That was because of the price. This limitation was leftover, so they could offer a lot of million shares, and then it goes to zero. Easy trade. And the last we were replaying was SKK. Look at that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful. We also took some shorts here with the tight stop, more risky trade here, more risk of trade, short there against the VWAP and all the way down again.
And that lower high there, Luis, on the chart, that was kind of, exactly, that lower high that you have circled there, that was sort of the idea that it was not going to make it up into the area highs, and it was probably going to be a bit of a sell there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we call VWAP rejection. The stock has already gone up a lot. It has gone down. We're just waiting for a small pop to short big time there.
Good look, good look. I really like that SKK one because I was actually trading this the other day. Sorry, not SKK. What was it? Go Easy? Easy Go? Or what was that one before, Luis?
Oh, the ticker before?
Yeah, EasyGO, right?
Go, yeah.
Yeah, this is pretty parabolic. Yeah. This looks like a sell program here, and especially through that 2.5. 2.5 was a good level there. My only concern is look at the implied balance open right there, right at 930. It does pop up almost, and then it rejects 3. I think that would have been a good setup there, especially on the break of that bar low, that 930 bar low on the 935 bar. That's money, and this looks very, very weak. Good setup there, Luis. I want to ask you about a couple of different ones, and then we'll bring in your friend Joey Options. SMX, Luis, one I was looking at today as a long. We had a couple of good trades on this one to the high side. It feels like it's setting up as a head and shoulders pattern here, and it's failing with a bunch of lower highs below VWAP. Do you like this one for a short? And I was thinking perhaps below 160 if it can reach prior bar low into about 140 because there seems to be a lot of pre-market support in and around there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a short. Probably it's already a little bit late to short it. The volume has drained totally, so we have no volumes. It's very difficult to go big on this one because level 2 is not that thick to go very, very big for. And risk reward right now is not that good. I mean, if you go short here, you make maybe 10 cents, 15 cents,
right?
But your risk is not that, it's quite symmetry risk to reward. So probably would have been much nicer when these couple of crazy volume candles appeared to short here, let's say, or here against the highs, right? Now we are a little bit low, so risk reward is quite equal right now.
Perfect. Luis, what's going on, brother? I hope everything is going good. I heard you mention a couple of names that we don't typically hear you talking about. You mentioned SanDisk. What else? Refresh my memory on some of the other names that you were trading here today. I
took 3 big caps today. Oil, of course, a couple of longs at pre-market and to the open, and SNDK, SanDisk, and Micron. Okay. So yeah, Micron and SanDisk. These are the names that I actually wanted to talk about. It's more or less my wheelhouse. So I wanted to pull that up, and I just wanted to get your opinion on what you think about this run and what SanDisk and the AMDs and this whole chip trade and memory trade can actually do. Because, I mean, if we're looking at SanDisk in the past couple of months, this is a substantial run. You get 150% from the end of March. What do you think about this? And what were your thesis this morning? Were you going short? Were you going long? Tell us a little bit more about your SanDisk trading. I was going short, of course, because the sympathy of the market, and it's one of the stock that is more overextended. As you say, it's crazy movement up for the last 3 months. I have to say, I already tried yesterday, didn't work, took the loss yesterday, and today it worked pretty nice. I was shorting the first pop when the market just was going to open right here against the VWAP, this 168, 170 short there because of the VWAP and because of the sympathy of the whole market. Well, I thought we could see some selling into the open, and it worked pretty nice. I didn't hold, it's not my strong point to hold a lot the trades. I was short here. I closed it 1,420s around here. So it could have been nicer, but it was a good trade. And Micron was pretty much the same, but I missed the open here because I was involved with SanDisk. I didn't want to double the risk in a similar sector and similar trades. So I missed this one, so I shorted here in the VWAP again, 660s, sorry.
Yeah, fantastic. So what I was thinking as well, too, is just the fact that we've been on these big runs and you're looking for that somewhat of a pullback. Now, is this a multi-day, or do you think this is going to be a one-off event for you where we start to recover a little bit more? Are you going to come back to what's worked today and then maybe try to execute the exact same thing tomorrow? What's your game plan with these specific names for the rest of the week?
Usually, I try to be very selective on this one. So the play was today, and if I don't see something very, very spectacular tomorrow, I won't trade. SNDK is different. I've been watching for several days, so I try to understand how it moves, how they feel the spread. Sometimes you can do a lot of spread trading. You know, you're getting filled in the offer and in the bid. That can be like $5 spread sometimes. So that's different. But on the other ones, I am very selective because I'm more a small cap trader. So if I don't see something very, very clear, I won't trade. I will have a look to Intel. I think is the one that is a little bit late on the way down. So tomorrow might be a nice short if we see some important levels breaking. But for Micron, AMD, I think that's it for this period.
Good stuff. So yeah, one more here, Shreve. So speaking of, it's like, okay, you don't typically trade them. You're more or less small cap. But if you see your small caps really start to set up tomorrow, it's just like, all right, we're going to kick those to the curb and just focus on what we would classify as our bread and butter. Is that what you're looking to do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just you have to be selective in what you are not expert. But if you look from 2020, 2021, 2022, we trade a lot these big techs like AMD, NVDA, and all these stocks because it has abnormal volume, much more volume than normal, and a lot of noise moving up and down. So maybe it happens again because it's so much high, all of them. So if we start to see some levels fading, maybe the volumes go there and we can trade almost as if they would be small caps, you know?
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Luis, let me ask you, I know you use your portal, you use your proprietary portal, the day trading portal, but I want to ask about your scanner. Do you use a regular, just gap scanner?
We use our own scanner. We have a couple of alerts. Gapping up would be the pre-market. This is this window pre-market. So we have all the information here. If it's gapping up, how much is gapping up, volume pre-market, price, float, sector of the company. And if you just put your mouse above it, it gives you the new, the institutional ownership over it. So everything you need to know about the stock. This is the pre-market gapping up. We have filters. For example, I have it has to gap up more than 20% with high relative pre-market volume. That's for a pre-market. And then once the market opens, we have this one. And I have a couple of alerts I define. We can just tune in as the way we like. For example, I have two different alerts. One is if a stock is moving up 10% in the last 5 minutes with high relative volume, even though it doesn't make new highs of the day. That would be like the blue alert is moving up 10% in the last 5 minutes with high relative volume. And the green one, the yellow one, sorry, is moving up more than 6%, but only if it makes new highs. So for me, it's important to know if this movement is breaking highs of the day or not. And that's the scanner we use. I think it's much better than anything in the market because we create only for what we like, right?
So that's great, and I find it quite useful. What I want to ask you though is, do you have like minimum volume that you look at? Like typically, when I use my scanner, I'm blocking everything that's doing less than 1 million shares on a day. I also have a price scanner as well, where I'm trying to block everything south of 25. Do you have minimum parameters in that way?
Yeah, but we look more about the last 5 minutes relative volume. Of course, I think I have filtered like 500,000. If you haven't traded more than 500,000 during the day, it doesn't show up. But once the market is open, it's more important than the last 5 minutes, because maybe it didn't have volume during the day, but in that last 5 minutes, we have 300 or 400,000 shares in 5 minutes. So that's it. You want to be there. At least you want to look what's going on, right?
Absolutely. No, that I do actually use that. I was about to ask you about that. So what I put on my scanner is just the regular volume of the day, then the average volume to see if it's doing outsized volume. But I also have the 5-minute volume because I always want to see if it's doing volume now relative to before. That's what I was trying to ask you there.
Yeah, if you see our screen, we have the total volume of the day and the volume of the last 5 minutes. So it's very important. Look at this: 1 million during the day, 460,000 the last 5 minutes. So it gives you a clue of what's going on there.
It looks like it's very sunny over there, Luis. We're very jealous because it's very cold here and it's raining.
Yeah, it's sunny here.
We're going to talk a little soccer, though. So you know I'm an Arsenal fan. I know you're a Barcelona fan. That means, Luis, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're a Barcelona fan, you're not really a big fan of any Madrid teams. Is that fair?
Mainly Real Madrid.
Yeah, I know. Well, of course.
Big fan is not the word. You're just a hater.
Exactly. If you're not on my side, you're the enemy, right?
Absolutely. When it comes to football, that's how it works.
Let me get a prediction from you on tonight's game. Let's just tell the viewers what happened last time. It was 5-4. Paris Saint-Germain.
One of the best matches in the Champions League history.
Easily. Amazing offensive match. Give me your prediction today, Luis. Who does Arsenal face in the final?
For you, what it matters is that it doesn't matter who is going to the final, you're going to lose, guys. I mean, there is so much potential on Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich that you had nothing to do, I think, in the final. Because they are so offensive teams.
But they're weak defensively, wouldn't you agree?
No, I disagree.
5 goals last time.
Yeah, but come on. They were weak defending because they were playing against each other, right? So,
yeah, that's true.
You know, it was very difficult. I have to say, Arsenal, it's very, very good defenders. They have the two central defenders. They are probably the best right now. Couple of defenders in the Champions League, but I think it's gonna be difficult that you score 2 goals, and it will be easy that they will score more. Today, I think PSG will go to the final.
You think Paris is going to take it, even because they're playing in Bayern today, so it should be super interesting. I'm thinking it's going to be another shootout here. I'm thinking minimum of 6 goals.
I don't know. I don't know if in the second match there will be that many goals, but I think Paris will go through it. Look, they don't care where they play because they play so offensive that they don't listen to the crowd.
Yeah, I'm liking what's the Portuguese central attacker called again? The guy with the curly hair. What's his name again? You know what I'm talking about?
Team? Sorry.
Paris Saint-Germain. He's short guy. He's got curly hair, a bit of a mushroom cut. He's Portuguese. Forget his name. The chat probably. Vitinha. My favorite.
Midfielder.
Yes, midfielder.
Yeah.
Sorry. Vitinha and Desiree Doué. Two of my favorite players on that team. And Bacascalia guy, I forget his name. I think he's a left winger or left back as well. Two of my favorite players.
From Naples, a couple of,
Yes.
Look, PSG with Vitinha and João Neves, the two midfielders, they usually have the match under control, the rhythm of the match. They manage the rhythm of the match. So that's very important for the Barca philosophy, because remember, Luis Enrique is a Barca player and coach, as Guardiola. So what they like to do is overcrowded the midfield and keep the rhythm of the match the way they like when they attack, when they defend.
I especially like how Rafinha, when you guys got eliminated by Atletico, and he was telling Atletico fans, he's like, next round, you're out. Next round, you're out. It ended up being true. So should be a good one tonight, Luis. Thanks for coming on, brother. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, guys. Have fun.
Thanks, brother.
All right, let's go to Adair. There's news.
We had a whole bunch of stuff out of the Middle East here while we had that interview with Luis. Thank you very much to Luis Barbado. Israel basically struck Beirut. They said they actually have apparently taken the life of a commander in this Radwan force, but they are saying they struck Beirut, and they will now act anywhere if the opportunity arises. So conflict back on full force here, sounds like, from Israel, at least for now, only towards Lebanon. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adair. Yeah, so a bit of a boo-boo here on my part. I didn't clean up my stops, and when we were talking with Luis, I got short here on OSS, had to cover, so we ended up going negative on that. But I want to point out that is moving. ERNA is ripping up into the high of the day, 719. So that's an official breach now of the 718 pre-market high that was at 835 or 833 or whatever. We're zagging right now at $7. Let's see if we can hold up above 7, breach that 719 high. It's a breach, but there's no continuation. The tape is really picking up here, picking up steam with a 7. Let's see if the buyers step in and around 7, 702, 703 buyer coming in now, dropping into 01s, but still holding the whole dollar. 46 million shares have exchanged hands on this one so far. Losing 7 now, though, but defending again. So a little zig. Yeah, aggressive sell order, sending this one into the low 90s. Could we see 80s here? A little above 7, a little bit below. You're going to have to be really careful with this one, guys, because it is really picking up in volatility. And I can't gauge the direction quite yet, especially at the whole dollar, right, where you don't know if it's going to fail. You don't know if there's going to be a big seller that comes in, at least pushes it back maybe into the 10 EMA, which is at around 675, 6 2/3, give or take. We'll keep a close eye out on that. But OSS is also failing here pretty aggressively. It's now down below the 10 EMA on the 5. It feels like it could be a bit of a double top. If this loses 15.25 OSS, I'm talking about this area here, this is going to be a gnarly short. So these are free to borrow, by the way, these shorts. So you don't have to look for locates on that. So something to look out for there. TT Money says BYND broke out. Let's have a look at BYND quickly over here. I don't want to digress too much from what I'm looking at because, well, actually, I'm not even going to look at it. Sorry. I have to go back here to ERNA because it's right back above 7. I want to see how this trade ends up resolving, whether or not we can kind of break through that high of day. It's turning into a bottoming tail candle now with aggressive selling into the 7 mid-teens, looking for that move above 19. You're not quite seeing it. There's 20. We'll wet the beak. Seller at 20 here, Joey. So looking for a hold of 7. You're not getting it. You're getting a move right back into the 7 single digits. Let's see if we can take out that 20 seller again. We got the unlucky number 13 here, 713s. We're going to give this to the low 90s. Let's see if it holds. ERNA doing a whole lot of volume, breaching the high, but barely by like a penny. So no continuity quite yet into the $0.25, let alone a third.
All right, Sniper 1, Joe, please look at OKLO and SMR. Yeah, let's pull those up. A lot of people talking about Tesla here today as we almost knock on that $400 marker. Only a quarter away before we started to turn things around, a little bit more than that. But I mean, here it is, a nice move up into that 400. We have Katina Man long from 392. So That's cooking up a storm for him. Moving forward, let's take a look at OKLO and see how we've been performing. Oh my, yeah, this is a big time move. And especially if you're off these lows, right? Like we talk about just from a technical standpoint, you have a trend break, a little bit of a whipsaw move right here, but more touches along this line here. And then now you're off to the races and really starting to bounce off of this. So you're getting a 73% return off of that, off of those lows on OKLO. Now SMR has pulled this up, not as strong, but we talked about this name up in here. A guy from work is literally what his tag is. Him and I have been monitoring SMR for quite some time, and you can see the price really start to compress. Now we have broken some trend lines, but I want to stay with the best in class, and I think that's OKLO. I would stick with that one, and then maybe NNE. Nano Nuclear here, starting to bounce off the lows as well. With the 20, you're getting 100%. Oh, no, I thought that was $40 that we're trading at. But I think OKLO is definitely the better trade, in my opinion. SMR is still weak. I'm not saying that they can't recover. Just be prepared to sit in them for a little bit longer. Now, as for the overall market, we have the SPY right back at towards the high of the day. And then that small cap name, I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the ticker, is STFS. Couldn't break, well, did break 60, 80s momentarily, but then started to come back in aggressively. So it drops 80 cents in the span of a couple of minutes. It did break through this downtrend, and there's a good opportunity to engage, but this is blocked on our end. So boom, off to the races it goes. So does the... Go ahead. Yeah, no problem. Does IPO-XC fit with the OKLO and SMR? I believe it does. It's something. It's Amazon backed as well too, so it's not too bad of a look there. Thanks to you boys. I appreciate you, Mr. T. But oh, I see what you did there. No. So I'm not doing anything right now, guys. We had our couple of trades here on the day. I'm looking at NVDA. The chips starting to cool down here. AMD cooling down, and then we have Bitcoin not doing much either. We started to form somewhat of a wedge, but now that's starting to break and then head a little bit lower. So maybe we have to avoid it. I was looking at the price action last night, and typically so we see Bitcoin really start to move in the post market. I think there's just a whole lot of resistance, and you don't have the Wall Street individuals moving price down with Bitcoin.
All right, good trade here on ERNA. We got in at 702. We took the high into the 40s out because it dropped back down below 7. So we took the last bit break even, but it's still zigging and zagging with 7. So ERNA, I don't think is done, especially the buyers here at 7. They're pretty staunchy, and they're pretty convicted in this 7 level. Let's give this one another go. Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the 5 second. Sorry, guys, I'm just pausing because I'm looking at trend here on the 5 second chart. It's still, we're still putting in lower highs, so I want to see a bit of a trend change, a move above 710. You're not getting quite that move at 710 quite yet, but you are getting a 7-ish defend. Watch out for the loss of 690, though. There were buyers in the high 80s to 90s that were backstopping the latest drop. If that fails, and there it is, into 90, big buyer at 90 here, Joey. A monster buyer picking this up right into 95. Here we go. Again, dropping into 93, but that buyer at... Sorry, I just have to change this. That buyer at 90 keeps stepping in, man. They're stepping in pretty aggressively. You're not getting that much time to buy at 90, but it feels like that's going to be a flat bottom break because the selling is pretty aggressive here. Let's continue to watch. Yep, it's a good defend, man. A good defend to 90, up back into 7, but no continuation. There it is, 707s. Are we changing trend? Let's go with this one. Let's see if we can kind of get back up above the mid-teen area or what the situation is going to be. We know that there's a 690 buyer, so any loss of 690 definitely ends the trade. There's certainly selling here, though, in the low 7s, and you're not getting any continuity, at least 7 high single digits, let alone double. And now there's an aggressive seller here at 701, 702. So a lot of localized selling. We have lower highs on this current 5-minute candle, but also a higher low. So let's see which way this cookie crumbles.
All right, man, good stuff. I don't know what I just did there. Okay. Yeah, all right, we'll figure that out here momentarily. It's just nothing to do with trading. I just typed something in, and now I'm just off a random day. I don't even know which day I put in there, so we'll figure that out a little bit later. There goes NVDA up to 205. Let's get this rotation going, man. Let's get this rocking and rolling as the SPY has hit a new high of the day. Has Katina Man hit a new high of the day? Let's figure it out here on Tesla, 398.50. I think it's only a matter of time. If we get one more leg up there, you're going to hit that $400. E46, not E40, E46. You're saying now is the time to buy SNDK? Some people, I know a lot of people are saying about the PE, it's still relatively cheap. Let's pull that up here and see what we got going on. Overview, E40, SNDK, and Micron are still cheap. SNDK, I think Meta is still cheap. Okay, oh, okay, that's interesting. Still trading at 15 times? That's interesting. Okay, I mean, it is relatively cheap. Let's pull up Micron MU and see what we have going on there. How's Meta been doing? 22 times, not horrible. All right, I see you. How's Meta? Are we cheap in Meta? No, yes, all right. Time to buy a little bit more. Full disclosure, I did buy some more JPM. It's the CDR at $40 or something along those lines. So we're in JP Morgan. I'm fully allocated right now. So like my portfolio, you want to know how much cash I'm sitting on? I'll be honest with you guys. 50 cents.
Ooh, you really let it go.
I'm telling you, I'm all in this market,
bro.
I'm all in right now, man. We got 50 cents of cash. I could buy a fractional. Actually, I can't even because it's $10 commission fee. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's $10 commission on TD there. So I mean, we're 100% all in on this market right now, and rightfully so. I think we're gonna get the rotation. I like what the boys were talking about earlier this morning. It's like, okay, the chip trade is hot right now. We look at the financials and some of the fintech names, just wait, because the market is cyclical, right? Like it's like, okay, we're hot now, and then you're not. So really, when we really start to find a rotation, where are we going to rotate into? And you only need a couple of catalysts to get the financials rocking and rolling. So that's what I'm going to be patient for. I mean, we're in Robinhood. We have JPM, Walmart, more or less my staple. So yeah, this is where we're going. I'm just waiting for that rotation. And NVDA is my big chip name, which has been the worst performer over the last little while. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Fully 100 and I'm 99.99% allocated in all my stock, and even in my swing account. So long term, we're in. Swing account, we're even more, but I'm going to be looking to be purchasing some NVDA contracts leading into the earnings report. So full disclosure, we're ready to rock and roll, and why not in this market?
All right, man. We got to cool it here on the trading. All right, done a little scalping on the RNA. Let's start the news because we only have 20 minutes. Let's talk quickly here about some of the major headlines. I knew that was coming, Katina, man, when I slipped up on that. All right, let's get down to work, baby. All right, so we're going to skip the oil story because so much happened since I wrote this in the morning. We're going to talk a little bit about AMD. We'll get Joey's opinion, we'll get mine, and then we'll talk a little bit more deets here. So beating estimates quite handily, guys. $1.37 on EPS. The street was looking for $1.29. Joey, revenue is at $10.25 billion on the quarter versus the $9.89 expected. So easy, a clean, a very neat double beat there, with revenue also growing 38% year over year, and net income nearly doubling to $1.38 billion. That's all the take-home money that nobody touches except the tax man. No, I think that net income is, it's already tax deducted. Data center revenue, now the core earnings driver. It alone, data center, which is a euphemism for their AI division, alone is more than all their other segments combined in terms of revenue. We knew that was coming. Obviously, it was by far their fastest growing segment. We didn't think it was going to basically overtake all the other segments combined. It has. The guide came in strong, $11.2 billion. The street was looking for basically $10.52, so about $750 million beat there, give or take. Lisa Su said server growth should, quote, accelerate meaningfully as supplies scale. Not a woman for hyperbole, but I respect that. We'll see how much that does. AMD sees tens of billions in AI data center revenue next year, as well as 80% long-term growth. No definition as to what long-term means here. Helios rack scale AI system launching in the second half of this year. OpenAI, Meta, they're already putting in their orders. The stock surged 15% yesterday, Joey, after hours, up 16.85. And guess what? It's up year to date. I'm going to give you a guess.
Well, I already know it's up 100% in the past month. Year to date?
It's up 93.94% year to date. So you're right on.
Yeah, so
you're right on.
Yeah, in the past month, I mean, it's
you
up over 100%.
You want to guess what Intel is?
Year to date?
Yes.
I'm going to say, well, I can already do kind of the math.
Yeah.
I'm going to say like 200+%.
You're exactly accurate. 201%.
Yeah.
We're spinning the money for your boy over here, man. You just did it live right there.
200%
I know his
there.
charts.
All right. Let's be real here. I mean, we talked about NVDA. That it was kind of a rotation. It was supposed to be a neck-and-neck race between these two. AMD, we're talking about the AI race that is. It's going to be AMD and NVDA essentially fueling it. Now, we've seen a little bit of a fall off, and then we've seen other names like the Marvells and the Broadcoms really start to pick things up. But here with AMD, you're seeing the growth across the board. They're signing massive deals. They have the Meta deal. They're involved with Stargate. They're in with the Gulf countries as well, too, building out their AI infrastructure. This name has been on an absolute parabolic run. Now we're talking about the MI555 that's going to be competing with NVDA's Rubin series. Lisa Su has taken this company, and they've really been on a rocket path to the top. It's a neck-and-neck race. It's AMD, it's NVDA. You have the Marvells and the Broadcoms. These guys are all working together and in tandem, essentially, just to lead this build-out. I think this trade goes on for quite some time, but one thing I have to look at the flip side of the trade here. 100% on the month. You will see some form of a pullback. It's within the stock's nature to have aggressive pullbacks. I don't think we're going to see, exactly, ring that register, aside from what we have going on from the Super Chat. You will get it, but don't stand in front of this freight train because you're up 20% in a session alone. So I really like what they have going on. The new chips are coming out. There's a lot in the pipeline, and you have some of their segments growing at substantial rates that we've seen in some of the cloud providers before. So be prepared for this trade to continue to pan out, but also don't be greedy because you know what they say, pigs get slaughtered.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, Traveling Trader, dropping 10 Canadian in the chat. Thanks, Sharif, for ERNA. It is continuing to go. There it goes again, breaching the high of the day. ERNA is on its horse. It's up 85%. It's looking for 7.5. It gets into 7.5 and clears it decisively. You're looking for 8. So great trade by you, brother. I hope you're printing up multiple storms on your side of the screen, and I couldn't be happier for you. Thank you very much for the $10 Canadian, of course. Super chat. I want to talk here a little bit about some underreported elements of this AMD trade. The first one is, remember that 6 gigawatt tie-up that they had with Meta? And Meta was supposed to give them a ton of money for their MI450 GPUs. Well, they're already starting to receive some of that money. In fact, they noted that the current ramp-up is also ahead of schedule, and it's suggesting that the MI450 deployment for Meta, that is, could actually go smoother than Meta's deployment of Blackwell, which was plagued with some issues initially, heating, this and that. We've talked about that before. So I'm liking that. It looks like maybe AMD has learned from some of the mistakes of their bigger brother, NVIDIA, of course, and not looking to repeat that sort of same cycle. I like that. It's obviously very strategic. From Dr. Lisa Su. Also, record negative inventory cycle. So what do I mean by that? Their inventory levels dropped by $400 million, and that's not a bad thing. Essentially what it means is that this negative cycle is that demand is so high that chips are leaving the factory quicker than they can be replaced. That's a good problem to have. Obviously, if you can't, put out the product out there, then, your reputation for delivering not so good, but that really hasn't happened yet. It's a good problem to have in the short term. They're selling these things, Joey, quicker than they can make them. Then, last but not least, this AI inference shift as opposed to training. We've really seen AMD come to the fore, and not because of the MI series GPUs. Those are good. I'm not dogging those. But what I'm talking about are the CPUs, where AMD certainly outshines NVIDIA through their EPYC, their Ryzen as well. And the reason is, these agentic tasks require so much more CPU power than the training aspect of AI did. So that's really booming favor, which dropped obviously some of their CPU sales. Good to see that that's back in focus. So a double whammy here. The MI450 is oversubscribed. That's their GPU business. The what's it called? The EPYC server CPUs also well oversubscribed. That's like the major part of their business. Everybody knew AMD as a CPU designer rather than a GPU designer. So I like that aspect of the report. Couldn't be happier for Lisa Su and company. And Holy. Bad word. Yeah, things are ripping right now, man. That EDS, ERNA just got back into 770. It's on its way to 8 here, Joey. Absolutely ripping up. So is that hot garbage PMAX. It is really ripping as well, Katina, man. Up into 362. Good hold there on the max. What's going on over there, Katina, man? You're short in Marvell, Katina, man? He put it in the chat. No, the reason I'm just asking, so surprised, obviously, is it's one of his biggest swing trades at the moment. There's a Katina, man, going double top, looking to defend that area. Beautiful look there, Katina, man. Way to stay with your convictions, buddy, because you added again into that, and now it's bleeding its own blood into the downside. We're going to hope Katina, man, prints up several storms on that side of the desk. So good look there for the Katina, man. And as I always say, Joey, if you're looking for the Katina, man's levels, you need to be in the chat. I can't believe Marissa's calling him Katina, man. It's like the biggest affirmation ever. All right, let's have a look at the AMD technicals today. Did the note get it right? Let's take a quick look. What did the note say? It said, look for long pullbacks into 415 to 420 if buyers defend. Your target will be 430. Well, you got it in the pre-market. You didn't necessarily get that on the open. Did you get a 415 pullback? This is the open right here, that big green candle. I'm just going to look at this from the open onwards. You didn't. Well, actually, you did. Because 415 did trigger on the open. Were you looking to 430 to 435? You barely didn't get you got 430. You got 430 and a half. You certainly didn't get 435. How about the momentum long? That didn't come in because that says above 430 only if volume expands, target 450. And then the last trade here, which was kind of the doom and gloom trade, lose 415 and fail reclaim, watch flush towards 405 to 400. Did you get a 415 reclaim over here? Let's have a look. So you did. So if you were able to get your 430 out, you could have got it on the way back down because this was basically a Christmas tree retracement. It lost 415, a little bit below the volume weighted average price. What was the low of this area? The low there on the dot is 402.04. This one said 405 to 400. So both of them came in. I think you probably had to wait to see which one fit your style a little bit better. Obviously, the momentum long didn't come in because that was above 430. That didn't end up happening, Joey, after regular trading hours. All right. So we go on, talk a little bit about its older sibling here, NVIDIA, and the tie-up they have now with Corning, GLW. So Corning is partnering with NVIDIA on 3 new U.S. advanced manufacturing facilities. They're going to be in North Carolina. They're going to be in Texas. They're dedicated to optical technologies for NVIDIA's AI systems. And according to reports, they're going to create about 3,000 jobs. No specificity as to whether they're permanent or, for the build-out, which are transient. The deal expands Corning's U.S. optical manufacturing capacity by 10 times. And we're seeing this come back into vogue, right? People used to build optical, what are they called? Fiber optics up the yin-yang, but that was like in the early 2000s, late 90s. Didn't really see too much of that. That's coming back in vogue now for data centers. The core thesis here is NVIDIA likely to move deeper into the co-packaged optics that replaces copper with glass fiber in their AI rack systems. Optical fiber, in case you're wondering why, can move data faster and use 5 times to 20 times less power than copper, which is becoming a real issue and a real bottleneck for the data centers. We've talked a lot about the power or lack thereof for these data centers, and they've already become like major AI infrastructure beneficiaries with Joey. Shares are up on GLW more than 250% in the last 365 days. And Meta, they also have a part to play with Corning. They have previously committed to $6 billion to GLW to help build out their North Carolina plant. So they already had $6 billion sitting there waiting to be spent. Market implication is GLW is kind of being re-rated, Joey, as an AI infrastructure supplier, something I think you and I already kind of knew.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting in the basics of fiber optics. Bell Canada actually has a big deal with
I
Corning.
don't even know about that leg.
Yeah, big deal with Corning. Sharif mentioned the North Carolina plant. They're looking to expand productivity and production by 50%. So North Carolina and Texas, plenty of jobs coming that way. But they have a target of $35 billion in annualized sales. The internal goal is to hit $40 billion. So I mean, if we're talking about this build out, there's so many ways that you can look at this trade. NVDA signing another deal here, guys, with the picks and shovels of everything, right? Like, so I like this name, to be honest with you, considering they're in the telecommunications now. They're starting this AI build out. But this stock has climbed 262% in the past 12 months. So it's definitely participating in this AI rally. And you're seeing it, you're starting to see that ripple effect, Sharif, is the hyperscaler spending a whole bleep ton of money, and it's starting to slowly, I don't even know if I can say slowly, but it's starting to hit different sectors and different places within the picks and shovels of things that you weren't really expecting. And it's just a whole economic effect. And we're talking about these guys spending, it's like 2 to 3% of GDP. It's like it's implemented into that. So expect it to continue to do what it's doing. And it's really driving parts of the economy right now, in my opinion.
It is, man. And there's jobs being added. These are real jobs.
Real
right?
jobs.
So
like,
that's important.
We talk about jobs being lost, but think about the jobs that are being created as well, too.
Exactly.
I mean, there's probably, it's maybe a one-to-one. You're probably seeing a little bit more job loss. But in the long run, like, this is giving people work for a couple of years, which is pretty good.
Agreed. Let's look at the TA, see how the morning no got this one. So look at what it says here. Best long setup is a pullback into 170, 175 that holds with volume. Joey.
Yes, sir.
This is the 930 open. There's the 930 pop right there, there. Pops up, drops. Hold on, what's the low of that candle? Joey, read that level for me.
175.25.
37.
37.
175.37. What did you get there?
25 there.
Right there, Joe.
Oh, okay.
175.37.
Okay, I can't see.
That's okay.
I could. I can't even see that, my boy. I was looking where your mouse was pointing.
175.37. So you didn't get 175 exactly, but I hope that you were alive to that. It created a bit of a base at 177.50, and then it popped up into 185. So that would have been a $10 winner right there. There was a bunch of others fail below 166 to 168. That didn't come in, obviously. And then there was a momentum long above 190. That didn't come in, or did it? No, it did come in. 190, if volume expands, target 195, 200. So on the implied, or in the open, did you get that 190? You did get it, but it failed a little bit above 195. It failed at 195.65, and then all hell broke loose to the downside. So I think the levels were right. It was really about how you executed here. I think that was really the trick with GLW, as it is always on earnings, because they're super volatile thereafter. Let's go to the next story, though. SMCI. Interesting report. Missed on revenue, but there's a reason for that. We'll get to that in a minute. So SMCI beat EPS expectations despite missing on revenue. EPS came in at 84 pennies, versus the 62 expected. Revenue did miss by over $2 billion, but there's a reason. 10.24 versus a 12.33 expected. SMCI is up 17.75, so the market digesting that reason and, at least for now, believing it. Management blamed the revenue miss on customer deployment delays that were tied to power and networking readiness. They're insisting it was not demand destruction, as many people had gauged because of the plethora of scandals this company seems to be engulfed in constantly. Supply constraints also impacted results, including shortages to GPUs, Intel CPUs, as well as that plague everybody's been suffering from right now, rising memory costs, hurting them as well. The Q4 guide did beat expectations. They're guiding $11 to $12.5 billion in revenue. The street was looking for 11.07. EPS guide 65 to 79 pennies. The street wanted 55. So a double beat on guide as well, with the OG. Charles Liang, the CEO of the company, said delayed revenue should shift in the coming quarters, supporting the idea that it was a timing-related revenue miss, as opposed to, again, demand destruction. He also mentioned ongoing China-related Department of Justice scrutiny remains an overhang, though management said no restatement is expected and customer relationships remain strong. In other words, the deal with AMD, the deal with NVIDIA, and others still on the books. and not being, walked back as a result of the GPUs that found their way to China somehow. Company continues aggressively expanding Joey manufacturing footprint to meet demand. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, trust me, MF Dangerous. I know about the copper game, my boy. I mean, let's get into things. Enterprise revenue up 20% year over year, rising 46% year over year. Sharif went through all of the numbers, but we're talking about a name that running through some. Whoa.
Like it.
It actually.
You look so innocuous there, Katina, man. No one can really see who you are. We got the big boy.
Yeah, we
got the big boy. There we go.
How was the lasagna?
I had the salmon.
Salmon was good. The lunch was good? Excellent. Legend.
All right, let's get back into SNCI.
Let's get to work, yeah.
Regionally, U.S. contributed 69% of its revenue, 13% coming from Asia, 7% coming from Europe, 11% the rest of the world. Growth strong across the board here, 154%. It's all right. Europe 146% year over year, and the rest of the world up 500%. I mean, we're talking about a name that was going through some fishy times, right? They're selling these chips to countries that they're not supposed to. They're not reporting. They're reporting late. They have no idea. I know Kramer was a big fan. He said he loved the front office, and this was prior, before all of this started to happen. And I'm like, what's even going? How do people even like this stock if you have the inability to report on time? You've known for how long and when you have to, and then you just start to throw things off to the side. You start selling these things illegally. But investors brushing that off due to the guidance. Aside from the revenue miss, they like the guidance. This name is starting to participate in the AI trade, so you can't really complain about it at this point.
No.
And it has steady growth across the board. Let's not kick that to the curb.
Let's ask the $1 million question.
What's up?
Would the 50 cents that Joey has right now
Buy a
as cash,
fractional?
would you buy a fractional share of SMCI?
No.
No. So you're not. Again, let's just be honest about this.
This be it.
Is there too much overhang?
Yep.
There's too much
Yeah.
BS happening at this company for you to feel comfortable, correct?
Yeah. It's like, you know what it feels like? It's like that one guy you lent money to. He never paid you back, and then he asked you to lend money to him once again, and you're like, he says he promises. He says he promises to give it back this time.
You let it go, but you don't make that mistake.
You don't make that mistake.
You know what O'Leary says, and I really like this about O'Leary, and it's obviously a rich person problem, right? You're rich, a lot of your family they want to borrow some money. You know what he says? He's like, when my family or anybody in my extended family asks me for money, I give it to them. And I say, this ends
now.
No, he's like, yes, in a sense, but he's like, this is the only time I'm going to give you my. I don't want it back. But don't ever ask me for money.
Don't ever ask me again. You better.
Right.
I would just be like, all right.
What do you think about that? You like that?
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. To be honest, or never mind what O'Leary says. What about what our good friend George Bush once said? Fool me once. Fool me once.
You can't fool me again.
Yeah, fool me again. Hey, there he goes.
All right. Joey, what time is it?
Again.